The world that we are living right now, there's so much lies, and we're living lies. Sometimes, even when you speak the truth, people, they're not interested in the truth. People, they don't pay attention to the truth. They don't want to hear it. But what is truth? What is truth? Is truth, is it what you read from the books? For example, if you want to know about Africa, is it what you read on the book? Things that different people, they write, right, their opinion about Africa? Or is it something that somebody tells you about yourself, that this is the truth, this is who you are? For me, at least for me, the truth for me is that still small voice inside of me. Like when the whole world is telling you that this is impossible, achieving one Africa in our generation is impossible. We have been struggling for that for like 60 years and we still don't have unity in Africa. It is impossible. There's still small voice inside of me that tells me that it's possible to achieve that. When the world is telling you that, you know what, you cannot do this. I mean, you're African, you cannot make it, especially outside of Africa, because you're black, you cannot make it. There's still small voice inside of me that is telling me that you can do. That is truth for me. And each one of us, we have that instinct inside of us. Regardless of what the world tells you, regardless of what has been written in the books, because everything you see is opinion of people. They did their own research, they discovered some stuff and they wrote it. That means you can find your own truth as well. And it's inside of us, that voice. And if you never heard that voice, then I think you can do whatever you want to do, whether it's meditation, whether it's research, whether it's going to school, and find the truth at the end of the day, because the truth will be there. The world we're living in today and the system of this world, it was never created for black people or for Africans. This system, as they were creating it, like Africa, you and me, we were outside of the picture. That's why today, you African, you can go anywhere around the world and still feel like it's not your home, still feel like you're isolated, exploited, you're not belonging there because it's not your system. Our ancestors, when they were taken a long time ago during slavery and brought there, they were brought there not to have a good life. No, they were brought there to work for white men, to develop them. Today, you have a lot of countries out there that are developed because of the blood, sweat, and tears of a black man. That's how it was created. So it's true, today we're fighting for the rights outside of Africa, but I'm afraid that we might not be able to see that. And I'm being optimistic when I say this, because unless that system change, we cannot see that change, because it was never created for you at the first place. But sadly, not only outside of Africa, when you come inside of Africa, we are still struggling with the same system. And today I'm going to share with you some of the lies that we have believed for so long time about Africa and about ourselves. But it's all about the propaganda of changing the narratives and the beliefs about Africa so that we may never succeed. And I'm not going to point fingers at anyone. In fact, I always point fingers at us as Africans. The lie began from the very beginning of time, right? And I can ask you one question right now. What does history tell you about Africa? Who discovered Africa? If you write right now on Google, who discovered Africa, you find out that is one white man that he came and discovered Africa. And you can ask yourself that how can you discover a place that already exists? How can you discover a place that people already live in that place? It is impossible, but that's what the history tells us. That's what people believe about Africa, that it was discovered by a white man. This guy, he came and then he went back, he gave a report. And then the next we know is colonialism, because those guys, they sat somewhere to divide Africa like a piece of cake because they discovered it, they own it, it belonged to them. But that is us. We discovered, we're the first people to know. And today you have a lot of people around the world that they think that Africa was discovered by them. So they divided us, right? Divide the continent and give each other some pieces. When you go to Angola, Angola was part of Congo Kingdom, guys. It was not even called Angola, it was Angola. Angola, it means the kingdom. That's the meaning of Angola. Even the capital city of Angola, they say it's Luanda right now, but it used to be called Luanda. But you know, those white men, when they came, again, guys, I'm not anti-West. Don't get me wrong. But again, when those colonizers came, what they did, this is what they say. They say, if you read in the history, they'll tell you that they were not able to pronounce Ngola. It is impossible. Like, you are smart, you study, you're civilized, that's how you see yourself, and you cannot pronounce the word Ngola. So it changed to Angola. Luanda, it changed to Luanda. And so many other different places. If you type right now on Google, who discovered, the first person to discover Victoria Falls is a white man. David Livingstone, he's the one who discovered Victoria Falls. But the people of Batonga, they used to name that place Mosi Oatunya, the smoke that thunders. That's the original name of Victoria Falls. But today, everybody will say, we call it Victoria Falls. And we say that David Livingstone discovered that. And we still praise the name of the Queen Victoria. The same thing to the Lake Victoria. We call it Lake Victoria. But that lake, it had its original name the way before that guy came and discovered that. These are lies. Not only that, even the word Africa. Do you know who discovered the word Africa? You know who named our continent? It's a white man. It was not Africa. I told you that the Congo kingdom was bigger kingdom all the way to Angola. Let me call Angola. All the way to Angola. And then they divided it. People, like right now, if you see African map, there is part of Angola is inside Congo. Do you know that? Not only that, they use another way to teach different language. So people in Angola, they started to learn how to speak what? Portuguese. And people from Congo, they started to learn how to speak Belgium. Why? They were united, they were strong, but they had to divide them by teaching them different language so that they may not appreciate their culture, they may not be grateful with who they are, they may not embrace their identity and learn another identity. They were not done. They didn't stop there. Oh, they took some of our people. They found some people who, like Africans who were like strong like me, handsome like me. They took them and they took them away of the continent. Skillful Africans. These days we call like brain drain, right? They took them away because they wanted to develop themselves. And today, when you look at African, everybody out there think that Africa, they have low IQ. Who is the founder of IQ anyways? Africans, they're poor. Africans, they need support. Africans cannot survive without us being there, because from the first place, we went there, we discovered them, we taught them, we helped them to develop. Today, we're even happy when you look at South Africa, the way it developed, and we are happy about that. That, hey, look at this. But you can see what is going on in South Africa there. The division that is in that country, our brothers and sisters, it's outrageous. So the lies begin all the way from the beginning to divide us, to change us, and to change our history. Today, Africans, we are struggling with identity. We're struggling with division. We look at each other differently because of our tribes, because of our color, because of our nationality, because of our languages, and we're still struggling with that. We don't think we're one people. We don't think we're one family because of someone else who had its own interest to divide and to conquer Africa. And it's still happening today. We ask ourselves every single day, why Africa is poor? Africa is poor because we don't have our identity anymore, because somebody else named our identity. And the big person to blame there is us Africans, who allowed that to happen back then and who are still allowing it to happen even today. I was asking myself, if we know how much unity means to Africa, we know that unity is power. You cannot know the meaning of power, and you cannot know the true meaning of power if you don't have unity. If you don't have unity, you don't have power. Africans, we don't know the meaning of power because we don't have unity. I'm telling you guys, power is not in the military. It's not in that. It's not about that. It's about the unity. And we'll never get to know the meaning of power if we're not united. And leaders and everybody in Africa knows that the only thing that can change Africa is unity and oneness. But we don't pursue it. But we are not ready to do it. Why is that? Because we have been comfortable for so long, living divided, losing our identity, and we are not ready to put on the work to find our true identity from the beginning, the true history of Africa even before colonization. Know who we really are as Africans. This is what I say all the time, that Africa is a big family with 55 different children. These 55 different children, they don't have same behaviors. They don't have the same, they don't look alike. Sometimes they don't even speak the same language. It depends where they grew up. But we are family. Why 55? Because 54, there are countries inside Africa, and that one country is diaspora. Africans all around the world, and they are our family. Because Africa is not just a place, but Africa is people. Me and you, we are Africa. The world is telling you this, that there's developing country, there's developed country. That's what they say. I never seen African say that. Who said that? White man. He said that. Oh, you guys, Africa, you are a developing country. Oh, us, we're a developed country. Let me ask you a question. Developed country means you got yourself figured out. But why all the time, constantly, you're looking forward and you try to exploit Africa to develop yourself? If you're developed, you don't need to develop yourself. You're a developed country. You got yourself figured out. And we are the ones that are developing. And yet, you exploit us. The truth is, we are all developing country, guys. The reason why there's this lie, so that you may look down on yourself. You may look down on yourself and believe that you need help, you need support, you need loans, you need aids, and you always beg to that because you want to develop. You are still not developed. What is the true meaning of developing? What is the meaning of that? And today, the system of this world was never created for Africans, and yet we still try to develop according to the Western standard. That development is having tall buildings, like long buildings and all this stuff. It's not about that. What about community? What about where people live? What about food? What about infrastructure? Do we really need tall and long building while our people are dying in Africa because of hunger? Why don't we invest that money into food? Why don't we empower our farmers so that they can produce more and Africa will never struggle with food? Today we have to ask for food from outside to come to, like the World Food Organization, they have to support Africa for that. It's shame on Africa and shame on us. Africa is a continent that can sustain itself without depending anyone, without relying on anyone for 100, even 1,000 years, because Africa is the only continent that has everything, like everything we have it in Africa. Is the richest continent free until we're in charge and we are in control of our own narratives, of our own medias, of our own economy. The reason why we're still poor because our economy is controlled by the Westerners. You can never be free if your economy is controlled. The reason why the media never talks positivity about Africa because it's not African media. They have their own agenda. Just like I told you, all these lies about Africa, they have their own agenda. They will never talk positivity about Africa. We want to transform and change Africa, and we cannot change Africa if we do not change. Yes, we're talking about the biggest problem we have in Africa is unemployment, but I want you to change that word problem to opportunity. For me, I don't see anything as a problem. It's an opportunity. Unemployment is an opportunity for you to discover, for you to do something to create jobs in Africa. Because in the age today, it's not about sitting and waiting for government to employ you, but you stepping outside, see the problem. One of my friends once said, you have to fall in love with the problem, because once you fall in love with the problem, you do research, you search about it, and you try to do something about it. And eventually you bring that change that Africa needs. If I want to change anything surrounding me, then I have to change from inside out. And I'll be able to bring that change that Africa needs. And youth, we're the leaders of today, we're leaders of tomorrow. We always hear that. And we have that in our hands. It's an opportunity for us to bring that change. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the stream, guys. I don't know if you guys can, I think you guys can hear me, right? Welcome, Welcome Tadios. Welcome Sine. Welcome Mariette. Welcome Marie Antoinette. Sarah, Tesema, Isaac. Yeah, I think welcome to the stream, guys. Everybody. So it's a beautiful Sunday. It's a little bit cool in East Africa today, but yeah, I hope you guys had a beautiful week. It's today. Some of you Sunday is beginning. Some of you it's ending like us. Yeah. We will wash hands. Prevent a lot of diseases. Thank you, Thaddeus, for your wise advice over there. So today, talking about, I'm just here to update you guys on what's happening in the election of Kenya. A lot of things going on, a lot of misinformation. This time it's been crazy. It's been crazy. Like they allowed the amount of like misinformation that's coming out from just social media. Everybody's claiming they're winning. Everybody even claims of rigging. Everybody. So it's a little bit difficult to a little bit difficult to get the facts, but here we are. Here, that's what we're doing in Swahili Nation. Welcome, Chekwal, welcome to the stream. So yeah, here's what you're gonna do. Let me start by sharing that stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys are having fun where you are. Let's see. But generally, it's been a very peaceful election so far. People are getting fatigued, man. It's been since Tuesday. We went voting on Tuesday, so it's been what, 6 days? Approximately 5 days. It's been 5 days of counting, and there's just a lot of fatigue in the nation. A lot of fatigue, but I think by tomorrow we might have the results. But just to give you an update, right? Just give you guys an update. Let's check this out. So yeah, first of all, let's check out the statistics. I think it's pressed. Let me share the right stream. Here we are. So yeah, at the moment, William Ruto is on the lead. He's the Kenya Kwanza, the UDA guy. He's 6.7,493,000. Raila Odinga is in a close second. I think the difference is like 100,000. This is provisional results. But some media houses have already called it for William Ruto. I'm also calling it for William Ruto. I think he's won the election. The numbers just are adding up to his favor. So he's the one who's winning the election. Our man Wajakoya, my brother, I don't know what happened. Guys were really going to his rallies, but he's managed to garner 59,000, which is not easy. And the priest himself, David Wahiga, he got himself 30,000 votes, but it's not over yet. So here's the map. It's technically the map I showed you last time, but yeah. So the blue is Azimio, that's Raila Odinga. For those who don't know him, it's Raila Odinga. His party is the Azimio, and is the blue. The yellow is William Ruto. This is the places he's won, and this is the places. So the map is looking like similar to actually the last election. This is the same map. People have really stuck to what they voted in last time. But apart from this part here, William Ruto, this is where I think William Ruto is going to win the election, because he managed to flip one of Raila Odinga's strongholds in Bungoma County. William Ruto got the most votes by 63%. So this was Raila Odinga's stronghold in the last election, but it's flipped. It's now they voted for William Ruto. So this is why I think William Ruto has won, because Raila Odinga has failed to flip any of his strongholds. But yeah, this is where I'm from. My city is Mombasa. We voted. It was a close, because it's 58 and 40%. It was a 50-50%. But yeah, in terms of the Senate, Azimio has 23. The UDA or Kenya Kwanza has 24. So yeah, the current government, it's going to be a split government. Split right on the middle. Like a lot of it's just half or half. A lot of A lot of people have won. A lot of people have like just split. But there are actually positives from this thing. Women have actually gotten more seats. They actually have broken our record in the most female representatives. I think this election has broken the record. We have actually majority, not majority women, but most women. We have more women in who have won elective seats than any in the history of our country. So that's a plus. Actually, there's actually one woman who's uh, who's uh, who's joined like crazy. My brother Obongo says Ruto is not winning. He has been caught trying. Yeah. Like a lot of claims of rigging. Like I said, a lot of claims of rigging. Like, look, let me just show you guys a video. Like, but here's what I think. You see, Kenyan elections. I don't know if Ubongo will agree with me, but I think Kenyan elections there are two sides. First of all, you have to get like the votes. You have to convince the voter. Then the second part is like being cunning now, because all of them, I feel, all of them are thugs. All of them are gangsters. Let me just show you. Just show you a video. Stop the screen. I know there are guys who are saying, "Hey, stop the count," but I'm calling it for Ruto, my brother. I think Ruto, the numbers, I don't see Azimio like when you look at the people who support Ruto or the people who Ruto side or even independent media who have tallied the election, they're all calling it, you know. So I don't see changing. I don't see guys from maybe Azimio posting like their own count. They're just saying that Ruto isn't winning because once verification ends, his votes need to go down, not claims, actual truth. You see, this is what I'm trying to say, my brother Wongo. I don't know. I know this is going to be interesting. I think election will be tomorrow. I mean, the results will be announced tomorrow. They've already gone to most of the counties. But let's check out this video first of all when we're talking about the rigging part. But yeah, let's check this out. First of all, where is it? Yeah, here. So women have won the votes actually. Nakuru women like went for full
women representative elect for Homa Bay County. Probably I would want to hear from you. This is an experience, and why do they even call you Bensouda?
Thank you so much. Good morning, Kenyans. Before you is Dr. Joyce Atienosogo Bensouda. I think I want to go straight to the point as to why I'm called Bensouda. One, it is a name that I honor and cherish because probably of my personality. They relate me to the ICC lady who managed the case and was exhibited a lot of competency. Myself, I'm a very competent woman with a lot of personality. I'm strong enough. And therefore, whatever thing that I do, I always cherish effectiveness and realization of my objective. True to the fact, I'm principled. And with that principality, that is what I want to go and use to really actualize of what a woman rep should do in terms of representation for women, youth, and PWDs. I want to say that I have owned that name and it is officially my name. It is no longer a nickname because from different geographical boundaries, be it my higher learning institution where I was at the university, within my entrepreneurship base, at the family level and the local community, I want to believe it was not a coincidence. Everybody referred to me Bensouda, and so it even swallowed my name Joyce. I honor it with a lot of humility because I know I'm true to the tax of the name Bensouda.
Well, your predecessor has now moved ahead to be governor. Do you believe you have the capabilities of filling those shoes?
I want to believe that when I made the decision to vie for woman representative Homa Bay County, I examined myself first. One thing or one mistake that I don't put in my shoes on what I've not measured and critically analyzed on my ability and capability. For sure, when I resigned as the Minister for Roads, Transport and Public Works in the county government of Kisumu, where I performed exemplarily, I want to say that I'm up to the task. Very competent indeed. And probably it might surpass.
So this name Bensouda, where did you get it from? Is it people who gave you that name or did you adopt it yourself?
People gave me the name, but I am the one who now has adopted it. Actually, I want to tell you that I even did a deed poll. It is my name officially. I honor it even more than those other names that I have. They whispered it, they called it loud. I want to tell you, even Governor Nyong'o, that is the name that he knows. It is Bensouda, Bensouda. In vernacular, I want to just give you a little bit of a thought. When I turn it round to be what is Bensouda, Bensouda moves. And that's why I said I have to move up to the ballot box. So Bensouda Suda in vernacular.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Yeah. Powerful women, strong. We're gonna have a very interesting. Was it Parliament? She's gonna go to Parliament. Yeah, she's going to have a very interesting political term right now. These are the type of women that have joined the elective seat, so it's gonna be interesting. I'm actually happy. I'm actually excited for just my country because now we're doing great. Now look at just the type of daring and the type of no-nonsense people that have been elected in office. So yeah, it's a good stride. Actually, the county government of Nakuru, they want full sweep. Women from senator to governor to members of parliament. I think 5 of them are women, to the MCAs, to the obviously women rep. So yeah, women have really gained in this election, and then I hope it's like a phase in Africa. I hope it becomes something great. I hope we continue to push this. Push for representation, right? For everybody. Everybody just needs to be represented. And not just women, as we talked about in Tuesday, tulikuwa tukaongea na Swahili Nation. Tulikuwa tunaongea mambo ya wanawake. So yeah, in Tuesday, I think we talked about women, and it's not supposed to be just representation. It's supposed to be like, competency. As you can see, you can't just be winning because you're a woman. You have to win because you know what you're doing. And this lady over here, just a good example of someone who knows what she's doing. Somebody who is extremely confident. I'm happy. Her confidence is good for Africa. One day maybe she'll be probably head of the EU. She's like the way she's talking. She might be president and head of maybe the EU one day, God willing. But yeah, let's continue to the next thing I'm going to talk about is what my brother Obongo was. Yeah, guys are calling it Nakuru girls, but Mazet Tajua too. They might actually outperform. What we want is them to perform. Sometimes you just don't elect women for the sake of women. Hopefully they perform. That's what I'm just playing. Because if they perform, then we all benefit as Kenyans, or even East Africans and Africans, because it demonstrates that we are ahead. Even even just everybody is ahead. Basically, that's what my point is. But yeah, let's continue, man. Let's continue this update. Because I have today we're talking about. Let's talk about the rigging. That's let's continue with the women. Just updates.
Coalitions, because then this kind of gives you an idea of what lies ahead in regards to the collaboration between the executive and the National Assembly and Parliament, especially when we've seen how the tyranny of numbers has helped the government in the past to pass its agenda or push its agenda through to fruition. So again, the color coding is there. Kenya Kwanza is leading in the National Assembly with 157 seats secured in the National Assembly. That's Kenya Kwanza at 157. Azimio has 153, so it's a difference of 4 seats. And so then we have others, which is 14. Others here includes those who are independent or those who are in parties that have not aligned themselves or affiliated themselves to either Kenya Kwanza or Azimio umbrella outfits. So that's how it looks in the National Assembly so far. So again, just to run you through, Kenya Kwanza has 157, Azimio has 153, others 14, and we have another 8 plus about 13 more to go. 13 more to go.
Yeah, as you can see, actually, during the first a few months ago, we're talking about what type of parliament is the best, what type of legislature is the best. Is it the one that is divided like this? This is going down to the wire. Like both sides have outdone themselves. Whoever wins, both sides have outdone. Like, look, everybody, like it's half and half. Everybody campaigned to their bases, everybody came up, although the voter turnout was low. I think the youth did not vote that much. That's something we also might need to dissect in the end of the election. We might probably do a dissection on why the candidate that lost, why they lost, and why they are winning, and what it reflects on the greater Africa. But in the end of the day, you can see both candidates, both parties, they really pushed, and they've almost half and half. Basically, it's almost, and I think they are I don't know what they're calling it for Azimio to have the majority, but I don't know. So if Kenya Kwanza wins, if the William Ruto wins the presidency, then he might have a parliament that's majority opposition. Or I don't know how it happens like that, but it will. So that would be an interesting type of government, really. It might be fire, but I'm all about accountability. So this is I'm good for this. But some guys, they might not like this. They might want the president to have a majority in his parliament or in his senate, so that some legislations, whatever the agenda, might be passed through easy. But me, I feel like everything needs to be scrutinized, especially when it comes to debt, especially when it comes to all these things that usually were rubber stamped. I don't like that. I prefer people scrutinizing. And that woman, she has the way she has joined, she's definitely looking to make her mark in the legislature. And also something interesting happened. The CDF was cancelled, meaning that members of parliament don't have that kit so that they could develop, maybe ati wanaenda wanajenga mabarabara, sijui wanafanya nini, wanajenga shule nini, lakini parliament hajaongea hata siku moja. Those are the people that are going to now they are going to have to be known in parliament, because now they have nothing else to do but to legislate, now. So they're going to, I'm sure this time the house will be very active. Hiyo ndio kitu najua. The house will be very, very active. So yeah, let's talk about now the most exciting part that I wanted us to go through, and that's the that's the rigging, man. Claims of rigging.
So let's look at how the National Assembly.
The politicians in Kenya. This is Wajakoya. He's still confident. The people of Juja have not yet voted. I think that if the people of Juja vote, this guy will win. Where is it? Where is
looking
it?
Looking like.
Yeah. So as you can see, there were this chaos at the Bomas of Kenya. Check out this members of
vurugu tu ambazo zinatokea hapa kwenye eneo hili la kuhesabu wa kura. Namuona wanamshika jamaa mmoja.
Okay, let me give you a heads up. This is the tallying center, National Tallying Center. So I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, you can see it. So this lady over here, this one here, she is the woman representative of Nairobi. All of these guys are politicians, by the way. This is what something I've realized about Kenyan politicians. I think politicians in Africa, these guys, they are very, is it fight or flight? They are always on that fight or flight, but they are now fight. They are always on the fight, like they are ready to punch, they're ready to go to blows, they are ready to just crazy. It's like mafia or gangster stuff, because you might think because maybe they are politicians, they are like this lady. If you see her, you will not know that she's capable of roughing. This is a man. This is a lady politician. She's roughing up this man. Just see.
Ambaye vurugu tu ambazo zina eneo hili maafisa.
Like man, you see, like if you see her picture, if you see her the way she carries herself, you will not know that she has this thing in her. She has this is it hood. The streets are strong in her. Like you will never know this. Utawahi jua that mama anaweza chapa watu mabare. Like but in the end of the day, this is what happens in the tallying center. That's what my brother Obongo was talking about right now. That in the end of the day, here is where the president will be announced. So here is where the votes are being gathered, the votes are counted, the tallying is happening. This is where they're counting, not the votes, technically they're counting the Form 34As and the Form 34Bs. Form 34As are just the what? When you vote in a polling station and the vote is recorded, it's recorded in a Form 34A. So those Form 34As and are brought here and they're counted together, and then they declare the presidency. So it's really that simple. So now these guys are fighting for if their counting is wrong. And all over here, the game is this. A lot of people here are bribed. A lot of people here are bribed. I suspect both sides have their people inside the IEBC. I think both sides have their own people. But now the game is who gets caught, who doesn't get caught. So look at this scenario here.
Sa polisi wanachukua usukani, jamaa mmoja wakisema kwamba ni jamaa ambaye anashikwa, wanasema hastahili kuwa hapa ndani na yuko mahali kwa kuhesabia kura. Acha tujue ni nani huyu. Picha ambazo zinakukujia hatujajua huyu ni jamaa mgani, lakini si huyu yule ambaye walikuwa wanashukia yuko hapa. Lakini wanaazimia wamekuwa wakisema kwamba kuna baadhi ya watu ambao hawastahili kuwa hapa ndani na wapo hapa ndani, na ndiposa vurugu ambayo inashuhudia wakati kama huu, maafisa wa polisi wakichukua usukani. Hatujajua yule ni nani ambaye yuko pale ndani, hatujajua ni jamaa yupi huyu, sababu yuko na maski, hatujajua ni nani. Hatujajua kwa ukweli ni nani huyu ambaye wameingia pale ndani. Mwakilishi wa kike kaunti ya Nairobi Esther Passaris ndiye ameonekana akienda kumchukua kule ndani ya mahali panahesabiwa kura. Maafisa wa polisi wamemchukua, wameenda naye. Picha ambazo unaziona mbele yako, hao maafisa wa polisi wamemchukua, wameenda naye. Bila shaka IBC itakuwa ikitueleza ni nani huyo. Amepatikana hapa ndani, hatujajua kama ni afisa wa IBC ama ni returning officer.
So yeah, let me give you an explanation for those who don't speak Kiswahili. So basically what's happening here is that they are election observers, and a lot of these observers are from both sides, from Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. They are all here, and then they are the agents who represent the parties, so that the counting process is just done in the open. They're not doing it in a secret room. It's the Constitution of Kenya declared that this thing must be done in an open, where everybody is seeing and there are observers seeing. So all this room is just full of guys from both parties observing the counting. So a lot of, and you can see even the police are here. These police were not here originally, but guys were getting, as you can see, guys are getting into blows. Guys were fighting because of the votes, because of the vote counting and all that. So the police are there to separate the parties, to maintain some sort of peace, right? So what happens is, if an observer doesn't finds you suspicious, maybe an observer from Azimio, like as you can see here, finds you suspicious, they can literally just attack you, like yo, why are you here? Who are you? Like give you like a interrogation. Then if you can't answer the questions correctly, you're taken out of the room. That's how. So a lot of people have been ejected like this. Like just some guy from observer, like, hey, you look suspicious. Why are you here? And if you can't answer correctly, or if there is a little bit of suspicion, which is probably means that you've been paid, or you've been, something, you're up to no good or something, they take you out of the room. And that's how guys are getting taken out. So the observers are just pointing out. Technically, they're supposed to like raise their hands and politely ask an official to check this out, but politicians and us Africans, they raise the ante, a little bit of aggressiveness. So it's a very tense room right now. This room is very tense. Like everybody is just, look, you can even see here, I don't know if you can, everybody is just eyes on the tables. Everybody's got their eyes on the tables. Everybody, even here, everybody's just watching what's happening. You make a slight move to your pocket, somebody's gonna catch you, and then this happens.
wanaingia ndani, wanawatoa pale. Unamuona Esther Passaris, mwakilishi wa kike wa kaunti ya Nairobi, baadhi ya viongozi katika mrengo wa Azimio wakizua tu, wakisema kwamba kuna baadhi ya maafisa ambao wako hapa lakini hawastahili kuwa hapa. Kizaazaa tu ambacho kiko hapa ndani. Maafisa wa polisi wanaongezeka, wale wa kuweka usalama. Hawa naona ni maafisa wa kuhakikisha kwamba vurugu haitokei hapa ndani. Maafisa wa AP ndio hawa wameingia kwa wingi kweli. Wanajaribu kuzima moto ambao unaendelea kuashwa hapa kwenye eneo hili la kuhesabu na kujumlisha kura. Kimekuwa kibarua kigumu sana kwa maafisa wa IEBC kufanya kazi hapa. Kazi imesitishwa mara kadhaa usiku wa leo. Kura inasitishwa mara kadhaa usiku wa leo. Wanaazimio wakidai kwamba kuna baadhi ya maafisa ambao hawastahili kuwa hapa, lakini hakuna thibitisho kwamba hao maafisa hawastahili kuwa hapa. Kwa hivyo kwetu sisi tu ni jicho tunatazama. Maafisa wa polisi wamechukua usukani, ni wengi kweli kweli. Unawaona wana AP, wana GSU wameingia hapa ndani wakiwa na zile rungu zao.
Yeah, this guy in Kiswahili he's talking about the police. These are riot police here to calm the crowd of observers. So, you know, without them, these guys probably invade the process and destroy everything and, you know, create a lot of chaos. So the police are there to calm to protect the guys who are counting the votes, basically, from, you know, the tense situation in the crowd, because, you know, this is the president of the country is getting chosen over here. You know, who the ones who not chosen, really, they're counting the votes of the people. That's, you know, so it's a really tense situation. Guys are protecting their votes. Both sides are protecting their votes, trying to also pull a first one. Both sides are trying to pull a first one over the other, you know. So it's a high stakes game over here.
Wamevalia sare za kuhakikisha kwamba vurugu haitokei ndani ambako kuna hesabiwa kura, lakini uhesabu wa kura unaendelea tu kama kawaida, haujasitishwa kwa dakika yoyote, sababu maafisa wa polisi ni wengi sana. Wamejaribu kuingia ndani, unaona wanajaribu kuingia pale ndani. Wana UDA nao na Kenya Kwanza wakiongozwa na Kipchumba Murkomen nao wanasema kwamba hawatakubali. Wameanza nao kuwakemea maafisa wa polisi. Na muona Kindiki Kithure ambaye ni agenti mkuu wa upande wa Kenya Kwanza naye.
So you can see these guys over here, these guys are actually senators. This is Senator from Elgeyo Marakwet. This is Senator Kindiki. These are all elected officials. They are here also part of. It's like a thing where observers are usually just politicians who are out there to, you know, rile up the crowds, or just in case something, you know, politicians, they're doing what they know do best, you know. So when you have a room full of politicians, there's just bound to be a lot of chaos. But we're going to see actually in the few seconds. I'm going to show you that within this chaos, there are a lot of sneaky things that are happening. That, you know, because the camera is there. You know, the problem is the camera catches everything, and you see, and you will catch a lot of the sneaky things that everybody is trying to pull. But let's just continue. In this same video, just going to analyze it.
Anawaambia wale wana Kenya Kwanza watulie, sababu yeye ndio agenti mkuu, anastahili kuzungumza kwa ajili yao. Anawaeleza kina Kipchumba Murkomen watulie. Wale maafisa wa polisi wanachukua usukani. Wanaazimio wenyewe wamejieleza. Namuona Milly Odhiambo pale akiwaeleza wenzake waweze kuketi chini ndiposa wakaweze kujadiliana. Wana Kenya Kwanza nao wameelezwa na Kindiki Kithure kwamba waketi pia ndiposa shughuli yenyewe iweze kuendelea. Ni usiku mrefu sana, usiku ambao umejawa na shughuli chungu nzima. Namuona Kindiki Kithure ndio huyo agenti mkuu wa upande wa Kenya Kwanza ambaye amesimamilia masuala haya. Namuona seneta wa Kericho pia yuko hapa, hata nao
So yeah, guys, basically we've seen the video, right? So So yeah, in this video, the video you've seen, all in this chaos, actually, a lot of things have happened. So let me give you another video that has been marked so that you can see what happened during the chaos. Just check this out.
Quorum at all times, especially at the Bomas of Kenya, as the whole country and the world. A lot of our viewers are saying, allow the IBC to finish its work. Yeah. And maintain peace and decorum at all times, especially at the Bomas of Kenya, as the whole country.
Now, this here is woman rep Esther Passaris, and I don't know who this guy is. I think she is some guy. I don't know, probably some official or some hired observer. So look at what they're communicating, and they're targeting this guy over here. This guy over here. Look.
And the world is watching, and that's an.
You see, they now look. They're looking at this guy.
That
now check this out.
Is bringing up, and I'd like to hear his thoughts on this. I know now he's watching because we will
see what they do. So now already he's grabbed this guy's badge, and she's already in for the. She's gone for the kill.
In those fracas there, can they say that our process? I'm not sure if it's an agent.
Now, as you can see, they're trying. You know, you guys, you saw the chaos, but what you don't see is that they're trying to grab this guy's gadget. There's a gadget this guy has, and they're trying to grab it. I'm suspecting it's like his phone, but it might be also a tablet or something, but they're trying to grab it. So I don't know its importance, but they're trying to grab it. So you can see this guy over here trying to grab it, while the woman, the member of parliament, Esther Passaris, is grabbing the guy, trying to cause a commotion.
And that person has a tag, so they have accreditation. They're holding on to something, but if the ladies are dragging him out, then there's a lot going on there. You can see.
So you can see, finally he grabs it. Finally he's gotten it. Just here, you can see.
What's going on there?
Look.
There's a lot going on there.
So he's finally he's gotten it. So he's gotten the device from him, right? Now guess what he does? Look who comes.
You can see who that is from where we are. We can.
So another woman just passes by with a hat, right? He passes the device to her. He passes. Oh my God! Let me take this stuff off. So you can see he's passing this stuff. This is the device over here. The device is over here. He's passing it to this woman. Out of nowhere, she just comes and look.
Can't really see.
And she just goes away. She just goes away. So now the chaos is still continuing.
Is also there, and the police now have taken.
So you see now the member of parliament, Esther Passaris, now she stops grabbing the guy and she goes about like, like she stopped. The mission has been accomplished. So these are the type of crazy. It's like a prison yard. Like these are prison yard tactics that are happening. The politician. It's very interesting to see politicians just pull off this crazy stuff. And the camera is there. The camera is there. They're watching, but people want to win the election. That's what. So sometimes they say in Kenya, I don't know, it's everywhere. But here they take this way too literally, that power is taken. So you can see that everybody is trying to protect their votes, and they're also trying to pull a fast one, trying to one up the other guy. They're trying to one up each other. These are the tactics that are. There's another one also for I think I look for it. I have to send it here, but it's maybe in a few minutes I'll do that. But it's for another member of parliament called Gladys Sholay. She was also up to something similar to this.
Over this matter.
But yeah, this is what happens in Kenyan elections. Now here's my theory. My theory that's a phone. My theory it's like a phone or it's like a tablet. and it's going to get, now what happens, I think that thing is going to get hacked. So I don't know if they have like a IT guy outside the, because now she's living with that stuff. So I don't know if they have like an IT guy somewhere around or somebody, but she's going to leave, and I don't know but guarantee you it's probably in the next few seconds or the next few minutes, that thing is going to get hacked, and I don't know what information they want to get from that. But yeah, let's see.
I'm not sure, although I thought she's also waiting for her in Nairobi. A declaration.
So this is who she is. This is you see, she's already, this is, women we don't be fooled by women. Women are, this is who she is. I think her name is Obutu. I think she works, I don't know if she works for the Prime Minister Raila Odinga or something, but I don't know. I think I don't know her actual position, but yeah, she belongs to Azimio. So yeah, that's the crazy stuff that's happening in the bombers of Kenya, IEBC. For those who wanted a sneak preview of what's the chaos, that's why when you see people fighting, you might think, it's just nah. That chaos is manufactured. Something is happening within that chaos. You have to be very keen to see, like, oh, why is there so much commotion? Just check out the individuals, and the person who's causing the commotion is probably trying to distract us from something that's happening beyond that. So it's a very interesting game. Yeah, so let me see if I have something else I can say. Yeah, guys, so like, share, subscribe, guys. Radio yeah, like I said, I'm also calling it for William Ruto. The numbers are just too strong. The numbers, I don't know, maybe if these tactics continue, it might change. Because they are working hard. They are working hard. So you can see the voters have done their job. Now the politicians are doing their part. Yeah. So with the numbers, we'll see. But I think right now it's what? Let's check out the news.
Experience Swiss-based education in the heart of Nairobi. With practical hands-on skills, we prepare you for the dynamic world of culinary arts and patisserie or international hospitality management. Travel the world and gain global work experience through our international placement network as you shape your career as the next global future leader in hospitality. Welcome to the Boma International Hospitality College. August and September intake ongoing.
Big leagues are back. Enjoy boosted odds on the English Premier League, the French Ligue 1, the German Bundesliga.
13 out of the total 290 constituencies having been verified, validated, and declared as of 20 minutes after 8 o'clock this evening. Welcome to our broadcast. It's a pleasure to have you with us. And
naam, mimi ni Mashirima Kapombe. Unajua wewe Yvonne unaongea sana. Sasa nilikuwa naona sijui nikuachie.
Umeanza na violence.
Mtazamaji, bila shaka tunaendelea na Kenya's Choice 2022 ambapo tunazidi tu kuangazia macho katika eneo la Bomas, ambapo tunatarajia kwamba kama si usiku wa leo basi itakuwa kesho, kwamba IEBC itatangaza maeneo bunge hayo 77 yaliyobakia. Lakini siku nzima tumekuwa tukiona baadhi ya viongozi ambao bila shaka tunawaangazia zaidi, viongozi kutoka upande wa Azimio na upande wa UDA na Kenya Kwanza. Raila Odinga akiwa kanisani pamoja na William Ruto, wote wakitoa wito wa amani na kuwepo na subra, huku tukingojea tangazo la mwisho kutoka IEBC. Na bila shaka hapa studioni hatuko peke yetu, tuko na wageni wetu ambao wataendesha matangazo haya pamoja nasi. Tuko na wakili Kakai Kissinger ambaye yuko mwisho kule pale pembeni. Ni wakili na pia ni mchanganuzi. Tuko naye Bina Maseno ambaye ni mkurugenzi mkuu wa Badili Afrika. Pia anaangazia sana masuala ya kina mama na vijana katika masuala ya siasa na uchaguzi. Na wa mwisho ni Davis Tayo ambaye ni meneja mshirika kutoka Kituo cha Jamii ya Afrika kuhusu fedha. Nadhani hapo nimefanya tafsiri sisi kwa Kiingereza ni Africa Social Financing Center. Na labda tuanze na swali ambalo kila mmoja lazima alijibu kufikia ya sasa. Yamebakia maeneo bunge 77. Je, unaonaje hii shughuli jinsi inavyoendeshwa, Davis?
Asante kwa makaribisho. Mimi nafurahia hii shughuli vile imeendeshwa kwa sababu kuna uwazi mwingi. Wale ambao Waswahili wanasema walikuwa na kiherehere, Chebukati amewambia enda kwa portal utoe fomu uziprint ujikalkuletie. Sasa mimi nafurahia kwa sababu kuna uwazi mwingi, kumekuwa na utulivu. Kidogo kidogo tumesikia habari ambazo zingine za kushtua moyo, yule afisa ambaye hajulikani alipo, fujo kidogo kidogo, lakini generally imekuwa vizuri. Na pia ukiangalia pale Bomas majibu yanasemwa, alafu kuna kwaya zinaimba. Kwa hivyo imekuwa ni uchaguzi wa hali ya kivyake, na ningependa tuendelee kuwa wavumilivu, tuko within the constitutional timelines, na nafikiri karibuni tutasikia yale tutasikia.
Bina.
So personally, I would say citizens are very anxious to see this process is done with, because majority of the citizens live under $1 a day, literally. And many of the businessmen and businesswomen are not able to open their businesses currently. I think if you've walked in your urban towns, in your community, in the rural areas, everyone is anxious, not knowing what's going to happen should the result be announced today. So the sooner we get to actually announce the result and maintain the calmness, the better for especially families living from hand to mouth, and they are worried about where their next meal is going to come from, whether they still have employment beyond this. So I'd also urge our leaders and especially supporters from both sides of the coalition to keep calm and also don't add to this tension and fuel anxiety by saying this side has won, this side has won. Let's just stay calm and wait for Mr. Wafula Chebukati to announce the results.
Yeah. Kakai, ulisema wewe Kiswahili uwezani nacho. So far so good?
So I think so far so good. One is that we've seen the new commissioners are doing a good job. Remember that they were appointed not so far ago, joining Chebukati and the two others, and so they've been able to fit in very well in terms of what they're doing. But the election is unique compared to other elections that we've done. In the past, I think we used to see results being announced in a different format compared to what they're doing now. The levels of transparency has increased. Even the media was allowed to tabulate their own results. I saw Yvonne with a calculator all the time, trying to catch up with the results. And so it has been very unique in terms of inclusivity, in terms of participation of the citizens to know what's really happening. So I think on that, it is good.
Yeah, for those who might not remember, Kakai, when you say different format, remind us how different this is from 2017.
I think in and that's a good question, because in 2017, IBC will come and announce the presidential results depending on how they have been receiving it. Yeah. And that was the final announcement by IBC. But after the 2017 and the guidelines that were issued by the judiciary, there was a case action on it. All the results are now being put in the portal, and every citizen and every Kenyan is supposed to go there and check out, because that was one of the issues that brought the contestation in the previous elections, where we didn't know where this from 34A was, 34B was, and 34C was. But now you are being told if you want 34A, go on the portal and you will find it there. So that's the uniqueness of this election. But it's a reflection of what the judiciary or the court said in terms of transparency. Remember the issue of it has to be simple, it has to be verifiable, and it has to be accurate. So that is what Chebukati and his team is doing.
And also on the object of transmission, now we're transmitting the image.
Yep.
Then we was transmitting the alphanumerics.
And the image, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was two of them,
So
but
I
now
think
the alphanumeric has been done away
Yes,
with.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think the other big difference is, remember that big board we're all used to at the Bomas of Kenya, which had the numbers. Hiyo haipo tena sasa.
Naam, bila shaka. Na wakati ambapo mnazungumzia masuala ya uwazi, kuwa sasa kila mtu ana haki, kama una muda na una data unaingia pale unatoa zile fomu na unahesabu. Lakini kitu kimoja ambacho kimejitokeza ni kwamba baadhi ya fomu kulikuwa na makosa. Je, huu uhuru wa kuweza kupata hizi fomu pia imefungua milango ya hatari zingine katika zile takwimu ambazo labda waandishi wa habari ama waangalizi wengine wangekuwa na takwimu ambazo huenda zingekinzana na IEBC?
Imefungua kwa sababu tumeona pale ambapo kumetajwa kuna makosa, wale maafisa imebidi waseme ni nini ilifanyika. Kulikuwa na kwengine hata ikabidi wafungue boksi lingine pale waangalie tena. Kwa hivyo process imefanywa vizuri, na pale ningependa kusema Wakenya itabidi tusome ni kwamba ile training ya wale maafisa ifanywe vizuri zaidi, na kuwe na uzito wa kuonyesha umuhimu wa ile kazi ambayo unayofanya, kwa sababu kuna wengine hata tayari wameshikwa wako polisi. Kwa hivyo iko ni kitu ambacho kila mtu anafaa elewe. Kuna ile personal culpability. Ukipewa jukumu la kiserikali ambalo unafanya mambo kama haya ya kuchagua viongozi ambao watatuongoza kwa miaka 5 ijayo, ujue kwamba ni jambo ambalo umepewa na jukumu la muhimu sana sana sana. Asante.
And I think it's also important for especially the officers to recognize the weight of their decision, and especially when they are verifying this detail, because at the end of the day, right now, we are very, very keen, given what happened in 2017 and the runoff and the whole process, which was questioned when the judges were making that particular decision. And I think that is what we're trying to see right now, even with what is happening at Bomas, just trying to verify the details so that at the end of the day, we're not only, we're not questioning the process, but we are very, very keen. And I think the fact that we even have a public portal right now, and the fact that we also we were able to take the image, so it makes it a bit easier to actually compare the results, as opposed to the other election where you are sending a text and it's a bit challenging to actually verify the information that was tabulated at the polling station. So we can only hope that also if there's any challenge or irregularities, we can also take action on that. And I think, as my panelists have said, we've seen action being taken, and also security beefed up. So we're hoping by tomorrow things will be good.
Yeah. I have one question, Kakai, before we go to Bomas of Kenya. Have we seen, is it just me, or have we seen more concessions this time around than previous, including just the latest one today from one of the presidential candidates, David Mwaure Wahiga, who then, conceded defeat, talked about the race that he had run and said, they've looked at the numbers and it is very clear that they are not in the lead, certainly. And he's not the only one. There have been several others who've made concession speeches. Step in the right direction, and more than we've seen before, right?
A step in the right direction, simply because we've adopted both manual and electronic. And the mere fact that electronic is used and you have your agents, because the law allows politicians to have their party agents, and these things are being transmitted and you know what has really happened. The sooner you concede, the better, because really, why will you be holding on concession when you know very well that you are not going to add up? I think like one of the presidential candidates conceded because he's been able to see, probably use his agents to see that this is where I am. Even if I proceed with the rest, I have lost. So concession is good, because when you concede, you're basically telling Kenyans that I have participated in this electoral process, I have lost, I am fine, but it's also rubber stamping the accuracy and the accuracy and of the electoral process. As like in the past, where people will have to wait until the results are announced, go back to the polling station, start looking for forms to probably file an election petition. So transparency in terms of electoral process and electronic management has increased the efficiency.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Na nadhani tutakaporejea tutazidi tu kwa hilo swala, manake kuna jambo ambalo linazidi kujitokeza kila mara, viongozi wanajitokeza na kukubali matokeo. Kuna lile swala la kukua kwa sheria ama jurisprudence ukipenda. Nadhani Kakai itaweza kutueleza zaidi kuhusiana na hilo, lakini kwa sasa tuelekee katika eneo la Bomas ambapo Wahiga Mwaura yupo. Wahiga, hujambo? Nilikuwa na awali ulijaribu sana Kiswahili, lakini kuna mambo mengine ulikuwa umesema nilikuwa natamani ningekuwa na kiboko ningekitumia, lakini kufikia sasa tunatarajia maeneo bunge 77. Hali iko vipi huko? Kuna matumaini kwamba IEBC itatangaza matokeo kutoka maeneo bunge zaidi?
Well, it's a little over 2 hours now to day 6 of the 2022 general election as Kenyans continue waiting for the results of the presidential race, having obviously by now known the results of most of the other 1,879 elective positions that were up for grabs when Kenyans went to the polls on the 9th of August 2022. Many thanks for staying with us on Kenya's Choice. We are live from the Bomas of Kenya, the National Tallying Center. My name is Wahiga Mwaura, and together with Nimro Tabu here, we've been trying to keep tabs on what's going on, both here at our studios and also just behind us at the auditorium, where a lot of action transpired, especially yesterday. A lot calmer today. And a bit later on, I'll be crossing over and handing over to Nimro Tabu to tell you exactly what is going on. We know that at the moment, results from 213 constituencies of the 291 have been validated, verified, and announced by the commissioners. The last set of about 31 constituency results were read out by Boya Molu, one of the commissioners, about a little under an hour ago or so. 77 more to go. And of course, many had hoped that that final declaration will be made today, but it seems that this will probably be something that will happen tomorrow. And of course, Keep It Citizen TV will give you more updates on this as and when we get them. But I'm here with one of the observers who's been keenly following what's been happening, not just here at the Bomas of Kenya, but also at a county and constituency level, as he and his team were following the polls from the 9th of August. Suba Churchill, who is the Executive Director of the Kenya National Civil Society Center. Many thanks for finding time for us and for braving the chilly evening to be here with us.
Yes, thank you very much.
Let me quickly get a sense from you of your thoughts about what's happening in there. Just behind us, where the process of validation, verification, returning officers patiently waiting for their turn to present the forms 34B together with the corresponding 34A documents as well. A lot has happened. A lot has been said about it. As an observer, what's your reading of the situation this evening?
Yeah, my sense of what's happening is that there's a lot of progress that is being made. A lot has been made. I think when this process started earlier on the first day of verification, you recall that there were only 3 tables at the center where the verification is happening. Of course, it's a requirement of Article 38, I think, of the Constitution, that whatever method of elections is used as provided for in the relevant laws, it should be simple, verifiable, accurate, and accountable. And I think IBC is under pressure to ensure that this time around, it ensures that the process is as verifiable as possible. You remember, Kenyans must have been addicted to what transpired in 2017, on the basis of which I think the Supreme Court came to the inevitable conclusion to nullify the first presidential vote on account that IBC did not take its time to verify. They were based on transmitted results.
Yes, exactly.
And those transmissions were done through text messaging. And it was found that, text messages are vulnerable to editing. This time around, they insisted on a picture of the form that is filled at the polling station, Form 34A for the presidency. And so what they are trying to do here is ensure that all the 46,229 from each of the polling stations across the country are brought here in person so that they can use the hard copy to check whether it is the copy that was transmitted through the picture and ensure that the entries that are made on that form, 46,229 of them, are the figures that reflect on Form 34B that is filled at the constituency level. And remember, we have 290 constituencies within the country and an extra one constituency for the diaspora. So we are talking about 291. And that's why this process has taken longer. One thing I've realized with the IBC is that on the first day that I was here, I eavesdropped into a team of people that were being brought in to be inducted into the verification process. It means that these are people who are strangers to the process, they've never done it before, and therefore they were being distributed to tables to learn from those who had been doing it so that they can have their own table. It was a team of about 6 or so.
And this was about 3 days ago.
This was about 3 days
first
ago.
got here.
So that is what they have been doing. So they bring in people as strangers to the process. And I think IBC has a responsibility in the future to have a pool of people on standby that have gone through this process before. Of course, we can forgive them because this probably is the second time they are doing it. It was never done in 2013. Maybe it was the first time it was being done in 2017. And so looking forward to a situation where we have such a pool of people that are trained in between elections so that they can be used to this process as opposed to what has been happening here. I also noticed again with the people they had assigned in polling stations that not all of them had done this work before.
That has been repeated by others.
Because every election year we have more polling stations than before. So IBC does not take the interest to train people in between on how to go about this program. That has led to people who are not properly trained, handling KIMS kits for the first time. I strongly suspect, as it did happen in one polling station I visited in Kisumu, where, you know, it couldn't just work. And I asked the guy, have you tried to restart it? He said, it's not even switching off. And my own suspicion was that this guy was not very, very versatile with an equipment that he had not been handling before. So it gave me the impression that he was not properly trained. He had not been, exposed to that equipment for long, and he had not been exposed to situations where that equipment can take him to, and how it is able to, to get it back to a working status. So a lot of it is lack of adequate training. Of course, IBC has told us before, part of their challenge is that they get funded a few months to the elections.
That's correct.
And so a lot of things that they need to do in between two successive elections get done the last minute, and that's why they get into this. And I remember I was also here at the very Bomas of Kenya for the signature verification, and I saw all manner of people, trying to do the entries. Some of them, got caught outside the precincts and within the precincts of, Bomas of Kenya, engaging in drug taking. And so it means that IBC does not get really to also, get the integrity of some of these people they engage.
Super Churchill, some very interesting institutional weaknesses that you're pointing out. We'll interrogate that when we come back. But first of all, let's get a sense of what's happening inside that auditorium just behind the studio here at the Bomas of Kenya, where Nimrod Tabu is on standby. Kwako, Nimrod. Nimrod? Okay. Nimrod atatupasha baadaye. We'll go back to him shortly. But Super, coming back.
I'm here. They were asking for me. I'm here to show you guys what are the crazy stuff that's happening in the Bomas of Kenya. One of them is this this very interesting video of another. Let's just check out, because I showed one side. Let me just show the other one. Yeah. This is another group of. Is it riggers? People who are another wise people, wise men, another group of wise men have been caught out of wisdom. And let's see what's happening. Now, let me give you explanation. Here is a lady who has been accused of operating a separate tallying center within the vicinity in her office. So guys are demanding that she opens the office. As you can see, this election, the theme is you get accused, you have to, the accuser has the right. When you get accused, the burden of proof goes to the accused, basically. That's what I'm saying. That's the theme in this Observers Day. So when the observers accuse you of doing something, maybe your office is, they say you have an office here and that it's looking very suspicious. So now it's your part to open that office and show us what's in the office. So here the accusation is that she's doing some funny stuff in her office. And the people from Azimio are saying, no, open your office. And they have ganged up on her, the observer. All these guys are observers. And they have ganged up on her. The police are actually protecting her and also taking her to the office to see. This is democracy at work, I think. This is in our own African way. In our own African way, we are pushing this democracy. Let's see what happens. What was that? Somebody's trying to troll me here. But yeah, man. So that was the office. That was the, what was I trying to do? That was that guy trying to trying to push that that lady over there. She was trying to push that I don't know what you call it, but she was trying to pull that, what is it? What do I call it? Having an office. She was trying to have an office and she was trying to pull it off, but nah, man, the observers were like, nah, that's not happening over here. That's we're going crazy today. Today everybody is going to be accused, and those who are accused, they have to answer to whatever is happening to the law, basically. But basically that's what's happening with the Kenyan election right now. Let's see if I can share something else. Some of these videos are loaded, man. You may think, yeah, get a video here. It's like, damn. Oh, here is another one, but I have to be careful. Where is it? Here.
She's not crying.
Yeah. The theme is mahindi huiba kwa shamba, not kwa store. Very interesting perspective. But yeah, I think we're done today with the updates. Unless somebody else, Radio Africa. Let me check out the comments. Radio Africa Group have declared Ruto the winner. Yeah, I saw that. Guys, a lot of media houses are declaring Ruto. Like, if you look at the Form 34As, the numbers, I don't see, everybody who I see has tallied the numbers, just declaring Ruto, 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 Ruto. So, I can't deny now. Can't deny. But I think the best thing is if everybody concedes the election. If you lose, you concede and you give credit to the process. Then I think Kenyan democracy will be on a higher level. Also, the parliament, and I see the Senate and also the governors and a lot of women have been elected. So the government is going to be a bit steady, and there won't be any chaos. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. I think there will be accountability. There won't be like tyranny of numbers. It's going to be accountability all the way, and it's going to be like, I don't know, the politics is whoever's going to win is going to have a tough time. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, Samira, namaste, Wahindi. Now, thank you, Samira, for joining us. Hustler, nomadic people. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's not hustlers who are actually nomadic people. Let's check out them. We have the details here. Why are we going far? And we can just show you the map right here. The nomadic people have so depending on which nomadic people. Are you talking about let's see, where is it? Stop sharing. Where is it? Here we are. We are here. But if you're looking at maybe Somalis, if you look at the map, Somalis, these are Somali areas, right? These are Somalis voted for Raila Odinga. Like, look, Mandera actually went, which has the biggest populations of Somalis. I think it's 78%. 78% of them voted for Raila Odinga. Wajir, Somalis, 61% of Wajir voted for Raila Odinga. Garissa, 74. So Somalis stand out in high number to vote for Raila Odinga. Samburu are also nomadic. Even the Samburus who are nomadics also voted for Raila Odinga. Turkana, who are also nomadic, also voted for Raila Odinga. The Manarok and the Kajiado, these are Masais. Masais also voted for Raila Odinga. So yeah, a lot of the nomads. I think it's Marsabit only and Isiolo. It's Marsabit and Isiolo. Those are the only thing. Then obviously the Rift Valley has its fair share. Baringo. But these guys are, I don't know, these guys nomads, Baringo, Elgeyo, West Pokot also are nomads. So yeah, I think it's divided half-half. It's not the nomad, but a lot of nomads, especially even the Muslim areas in Kenya, high number voted for Raila Odinga. Because you look at the coast, Lamu, Tana River is not Muslim. This is, talking about maybe Lamu is probably majority Muslim. And Kilifi, these other places are not majority Muslims, but they have a high percentage of Muslims, and they all voted for Raila. So yeah, Ruto won but the problem in Kenya, and it's not really in Kenya, but it's the interesting thing about Kenyan politics is if you go by tribe, these places are the most highly populated. But apart from Nairobi, which is probably, we have Kiambu, Murang'a, these are very high populated areas. It's been updated. So a lot of these are very, and a lot of these places are highlands, right? So they are very highly populated with huge amounts. So a lot of vote. If you get these places, you have a huge advantage in the election, in which I think William Ruto leveraged. I think when Raila or whoever wins the election, I think we're going to have to check out what tactics he used and where he failed and where he might have done better. But this one here, this is a big loss for Raila. This Bungoma County, big loss. I think this is what's going to deter. I think this has determined the election. To me personally, Bungoma, that's determined the election. If he had won this one, he would have won the election. You know, he didn't have appointment in Bungoma. He should have taken Wetangula very seriously. I think Wetangula is the one who put the final nail on the coffin. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see when it happens. Yeah, let's see if anybody has any questions, or do we continue? Do we? So yeah, before that, guys, also donate to our cause. We're having a very we are having a fundraising to our offices. So guys, also don't forget to donate, and contribute to the office so that we can even have Raila Odinga and William Ruto in the studios, and we interview them live. Also, we would be having our own team to tally the results, because everybody's telling. I think also Swahili Nation next time, God willing, in it will be 5 years, God willing, we'll also be telling our results. Bungoma Cook. Okay, you know what? I think that's where Raila needs to concentrate. I think Raila should leave Mount Kenya alone. I think Raila, if he wants to win, he needs to really check out Bungoma. If he can turn this, because this is how many 300,000 votes? It was around 400. I think almost 400,000 votes, and they didn't even have a high turnout. It was like a small turnout, and they produced 400,000 votes. So imagine if he concentrated here, he has a huge advantage. And also, yes, he needs just to concentrate all these places. So yeah, I think if I don't know, you guys think if it's going to be a re-election, I mean a rerun, a runoff. I don't know if guys are saying it's probably not going to happen, because if we had maybe Ruben Kigame or other candidates allowed, it probably would have gone for a runoff, because nobody would have gotten that 50%. But now I think somebody has to win. So yeah, definitely there will be a runoff. There won't be a runoff. It will be just completely. But yeah, let me see if I can put this. I think our favorite. But this election is going to be. It's going already. It's just done a lot of work. They I'm happy. Although some people who came, oh my, I think in a few minutes I'll be talking about somebody else. But
to a minimum of
somebody who.
And in any case, countries like Nigeria, and I'm not suggesting they're perfect, have more than 40% going to devolve government, and we can be corrected on that.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. No, but the question has been in Kenya. That's why our constitution is one of the biggest in the world. Of course, progressive, but the biggest in the world, and has some things which are even should have gone to regulations, not even to an act of parliament, because of lack of trust. Okay. Unless you put it in the constitution, if it's very important, put it in the constitution.
The question of winner takes all, and there is a perception or the reality that the presidency sucks the air from the room, right? That the person who walks into that office essentially can turn this state to look like him.
Oh, yes. That relates to the original question of bad manners in the political systems. And the question was, how can we weed this one out? It's true. If you look at today's Kenyan economy, from a perspective of those who have been actively involved in politics, vis-a-vis the time they have fallen out of politics, you can see that the Kenyan wealthy persons are actually dependent on the political will of whoever will has the power. So unless The lawyers are here. They can tell there is separations of political power, okay? But I think that we have placed so much power on the country resources in the hands of one office. Somebody who is elected for a period of 5 years and a maximum of 10 left to run the country from a personal property point of view. This person knows that he has a limited period over there. He has all this power, and more so, not actually power, but resources, national resources, can make decisions. How well checked is that process? How well checked is that process of how the office of the executive commit national resources? That unless that is part is closed, politics is going to remain very attractive in this country because they know what it means, and it's always going to be very unethical. But that's an area which has to be addressed. If it is not, we are in trouble. Okay. Two, I feel as we move, all is not lost. As we move, our electoral system is reforming.
What would you like to be changed in the electoral system?
What we need is what we have gone through in the actually IBC itself. We have seen some reforms. Initially, Chepukati himself as a person has made a contribution in this by being a little bit resilient. There before, a lot of the members of the commission, and that is needs to be looked at from a legal point of view as well, there is too much power on the dependence on the party policies, the party to appoint. You know, it shouldn't be like that. What we should do is have a nicely drawn marking scheme of who qualify to join that, but rule out the party systems. Okay. Now, when you have the party system taken care of, that now brings the element of loyalty. And somebody who owns loyalty or appointment to a body, you'll try to take care of that body's interests. So we have to apoliticize, remove politics from the electoral system management completely. Now, once you have done that, get people who are qualified, especially from the point of trustworthiness. That has to be brought in. Okay. As we make our electoral system more technical, as it anywhere where things are technical, the level of trust goes up. But when you leave them to the judgment of the individuals who are subject to influence, external, that brings a problem. Now, the other thing, as I've said there before, the national resource management and sharing, that decision making need to be looked at. There's a lot of loopholes at that point. And many of the Kenyans actually don't do much. They just look for opportunity to be close to those who are in government offices. Otherwise, today in Kenya, if you are not dealing with the government in any form of life, you are not going to make it. The other sectors of this country are becoming less productive. Mm-hmm. More production is invest in, connectivity in the government system. That guarantees your life. And that's why it is so wasteful. The minute a system falls, another one takes over. It's actually a matter of life and death to some people who looked very progressive. They just fall.
Because it's very lucrative. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the winner takes it all. I think our constitution is quite clear on how this leadership is supposed to be. Our problem is the hangover of the previous systems of government, that we seems to be still held up there, or those who are getting into power are actually missing those years when the presidency was everything. The biggest impediment to our democracy and the future of this country is deliberate efforts by those in leadership to fail to implement the constitution. Because the 2010 constitution have not been implemented sufficiently to even demand for the changes that we were talking about. We were brought to the conversation of BBI, a BBI that was killing actually the 2010 constitution. The very spirit of the 2010 constitution was being undermined big time by the BBI conversation, because the issues that were being introduced are issues that are actually enshrined, they are entrenched in our constitution, but we have failed to implement. Look at the issue of the professional administration. They were removed. What happened? Even people have gone to court. There is a court judgment. There is issues of what do you call this? CASs, whatever. There was a court order against that, but they served up to the last. They are still serving even up to today, and many other court rulings that have been given in support of the 2010 constitution, which the executive have deliberately failed to implement what the court ruling. So what I think we need to do as the Kenyan people, we need to think of how then do we ensure that the 2010 constitution is implemented. The separation of power also, the issue of the National Assembly vis-a-vis judiciary and the executive. We have realized, we have actually seen that we elect members of the National Assembly to go and serve the country to oversight what the executive does. But what happens when they go there? They actually become part and parcel of the executive. So I think we need to look at the mechanics of how then do we ensure, how do we protect the interests of the Kenyan people by ensuring the separation of power, so that the members of parliament continue serving the people who elected them for the purposes of oversighting. But if we elect people, then they go and defect, because to me I can actually call it defection, because they have moved from their role and now they are doing the role of the other arm of government. Then it's not very difficult for even the constitution to be implemented.
Right. There's this, sort of a very good ruling, I think a week ago, by the CDF, where the Supreme Court actually declared it unconstitutional on very many levels. Doc, do you believe this is the way to go to allow members of parliament to focus on their actual roles, to oversight? They should not be doing implementation of things. Some quarters have continued saying that that is the wrong move. Most parliaments will somehow come with a new act when the first thing they will do as soon as they get into parliament. That's what they will do. Walk me around this.
No, I think I completely agree with the decision of the Supreme Court on the unconstitutionality of CDF, for the reason that our constitution envisions legislators to perform several functions. Of course, to make laws, which is to legislate, but more fundamentally, to provide oversight in relation to the use of resources. Now, the problem with CDF is that the member of parliament who allocates resources, because parliament controls the power of the purse, is that the parliamentarian then becomes both an implementer and the one who exercises oversight. And so it creates a duality.
In a year, 100,000 to interrogate a document that has millions, and millions in it, right? And this document, you're giving them on site when they've actually attended that public participation forum. And lastly, as citizens, I have attended a couple of public participation forums. You never get feedback. There's no feedback mechanism, because these are the views we give as citizens. Then there's no feedback in terms of what was taken on board and what was rejected and what is the way forward. So on both ends, in terms of citizens, there's room for us to improve and take them seriously, because they determine the quality of our lives at the community level. But then on the other end, for our leaders, also give feedback, share this information in good time, so that when we come there, we're able to have a quality conversation.
Lakini tukianza Bina, uliongea kuhusiana na jinsi ambavyo Wakenya wengi wanaishi kwa vile vibarua ambavyo mwisho wa siku wanapata pesa zake kidogo ambazo watanunua chakula. Je, hii ni mojawapo ya changamoto za wananchi kujumuika ili kutoa hoja zao, kwa sababu mtu ataangalia nitakuja hapo nikae siku nzima ama nusu siku, kisha nani ambaye atahakikisha familia yangu imepata chakula hiyo siku?
But I think tunasahau ya kwamba by attending hii public participation forum unaenda kudecide hii hospitali itakuwa na madawa ama haitakuwa na madawa. Unaenda kudecide tutakuwa na chakula ama tutakuwa na chakula. So hata ukisema utamiss kwa sababu ya hiyo siku moja, yet hiyo pesa kidogo yenye unapata ndio yote itaenda kwa private hospital, maanake ile public hospital haifanyi kazi. So ni priority pia kuangalia in the long term ni mikakati gani imewekwa, maanake huyu ni kiongozi anakuja kudiscuss plan za 5 years. 5 years kama utakuwa na barabara, 5 years kama utakuwa na maji, 5 years kama utakuwa na madawa, 5 years kama utakuwa na quality education. So ukicompare ile na wewe kusema mimi nitakaa tu ama sitaenda, but at the same time pia I think pia tunafaa kuangalia other ways ya kuengage wale citizens ambao hawezi fika pale. Tunaongelea kama sasa hivi tumeona digital engagement, technology. Tunafaa pia tuweze kutumia technology. Maanake unapata mimi naweza kosa nafasi leo, but ningeweza kuona yale maswala ama kuinteract na zile documents, bado naweza peana feedback yangu ambayo inaweza saidia. So I think pia ni kwa sababu hatujaangalia ni mikakati gani ingine tunaweza weka ya kuensure that wale citizens hawawezi fika pale, ni jinsi gani tunaweza pata maoni yao. Na digital technology inatupatia a very beautiful opportunity. Manake tumeona venye tumekuwa tukiitumia kutoka COVID, so mbona hatuwezi anza kuitumia kwa public participation pia?
Davis, unadhani wakati huu mambo yatabadilika kuwa wananchi watakumbatia hili swala la kutoa hoja zao kuhusiana na jinsi serikali haswa za kaunti zinavyoendeshwa?
Ni lazima tubadilike, kwa sababu tusipobadilika tutaendelea kulaumu hawa viongozi. Na kitu ambacho ningependa kusema mambo mawili, ya kwamba ni wapi wewe unapiga kura. Unaona sasa watu wengi wanafanya kazi mijini kisha usafiri kwenda kupiga kura nyumbani, mashinani kule. Sasa ukishachagua mtu kule, wewe warudi huku mjini. Alafu sasa nani ata participate kule katika mambo hayo? Kwa hivyo hilo ni swali ambalo tulifikirie kama Wakenya, tupige kura pale ambapo tunaishi. Ndipo sasa tutakuwa na ule msukumo wa kusema hapa ninapoishi, hapa ndio naishi sana, kukiwa na shida nataka kuwe na solution fulani. La pili, na ningependa tu kutoa mfano kama hapa Nairobi, hii constituency inaitwa Starehe, si ni hapa CBD. Sasa watu kutoka mbali tunakuja tunashinda huku CBD siku nzima, alafu tunarudi. Sasa ukijiuliza hawa watu ambao wanafaa kuattend hizi public participation kwa mambo ya starehe ni kina nani? Ni wale ambao tuwashinda hapa, alafu baadaye nikitaka kupiga kura naenda nyumbani Lamu ama wapi? Ama ni wale ambao wanafanya kazi huku? Kwa hivyo kuna hayo challenges. Embakasi kuna airport, kuna industrial area. Sasa ni watu gani ambao wata participate? Kwa hivyo hilo ni swali ambalo sina jibu, ningependa tu kulisema. La pili ni wazo, sababu hiyo public participation framework nafikiri bado we are struggling to define it very well. And I think tukiangalia the participation of political parties in this general election, there's an opportunity there. Sababu kuna wengi ambao walikuwa na candidates na wamepata umaarufu fulani kulingana na vile zile kura ambazo walipata. Kwa hivyo hao ni watu ambao walikuwa wanawashabikia. Kwa hivyo inabidi tufikirie na viongozi wapya wanakuja, can we turn all political parties, all registered political parties to be stakeholders in public participation, so that kukiwa na mswada fulani katika kaunti fulani, iwe ni sheria ya kwamba ikiwa chama kiliparticipate katika uchaguzi katika hiyo kaunti, lazima chama hiko kipewe nakala na kikwe facilitated in a way so that the members of that party can actually give their views, so that whoever won, because you want to manage the resources of everyone. You are everyone's president, you're everyone's governor, you're everyone's senator, you're everyone's MP. You can then have a very formal way of receiving feedback. Sababu ni vile dadangu anasema, unaenda pale unaongea, kesho ukiangalia huo mswada unajaribu kuona kama lile nilisema liliwekwa, huoni kitu. Sasa kesho utajiuliza, nilienda kupoteza wakati wangu la hela zangu kwenda pale. Kwa hivyo maswali kama hayo lazima yaangaliwe.
Naam.
And I think nataka pia kusema hongera pia, maanake kuna organizations pale nje ambazo zinafanya kazi ya public participation. Tumeona Siasa Place, tumeona Tribeless Youth, tumeona Run for Office. So watu wanajitokeza ensure that at the end of the day tuna build ile capacity ya mwananchi kuwa na a quality dialogue. Hata Badili Africa ensure mama wa chama, mwanamke. So people are trying to ensure that at the end of the day we are building the capacity of women and youth to have quality conversations when they attend public participation forums.
Kakai, nataka kidogo tusonge mbele kwa masuala ya amani na uchaguzi ama kujumuishwa kwa kura, haswa kuhusiana na kaunti kama ya Narok ambayo afisa mkuu katika eneo hilo amehamisha ile shughuli hadi katika eneo la Bomas. Hatua kama hiyo ina changamoto gani kisheria wakati ambapo shughuli hiyo imeondolewa katika sehemu ambayo ilikuwa inastahili kufanywa hadi ikamiliki?
Thank you. The Elections Act and the regulations that are established allows the IEBC official to actually do the tallying from that recognized tallying center, because they normally gazette them before the election that this will be the tallying center, county tallying center or constituency tallying center. Now, in the event that in that constituency tallying center or the county tallying center there's a problem, the same law allows the county returning officer or the constituency returning officer to move, because what at the moment is concerned to the IEBC is the secrecy and security of the ballot. That ballot, he would rather run away and go to wherever he feels is safe, because it's fundamental right that he has and a civic duty that he must protect for the electorates. So what he's doing is just to secure the ballot. Because remember, if he announces the results and don't have those forms or you don't have whatever it is, it becomes a problem. So security of, but also it speaks to the security of the election, because IEBC under the law is required to provide security services for the election. So probably through the fact that the police must have told the IEBC people that it's not secure here, let's move. So that is allowed under the law. So it's not illegal.
And will it have any implications to what is going on now at Bomas, the tallying of the presidential elections?
No, it will have no impact at all. It will have no impact at all, because remember, the presidential one has already been set.
From the polling.
From the polling.
Yeah.
So it will have got no impact at all. Yeah.
Naam. Bina na Davis, swali hilo hilo, je, unaona kama IEBC imejitahidi kuchukua hatua za haraka wakati ambapo wanaona kuna tatizo katika sehemu yoyote ile, ukiangalia tangu uchaguzi ulivyofanyika siku ya Jumanne? Bina, tuanze na wewe.
I think IEBC wanajitahidi because kwa sasa I think hata tulikuwa tunaongelea pambeleni, in the last election tulikuwa tunaongea server. Huu wakati kuna public portal. So wewe kama mwananchi waweza enda pale uangalie zile forms ambazo hata zinakuwa verified kwa wakati huu, na pia kuangazia yale ambayo yaliyotendeka in 2017. So wanajikakamua ensure that hii process iko sawa na haitawarudisha kotini cause tena tuende kwa ile runoff kwa sababu ya process. Manake kafaa uensure that unachukua muda lakini matokeo yako sawa sawa. Na kama sasa hivi tumeona hata hawalali na pia wameongezea more people kusaidia hiyo kazi ensure that number one, tuna meet ile target ya within 7 days, na hata kama tuna meet ile target ya within 7 days tuko very clear. Na pia wakati ambapo tuko clear, tumeona yale ambayo yametokea na yule mmoja ambaye aliyeshikwa pale, tumeona they're trying to act fast to ensure that kama kuna any anomalies they act on it on spot. So wanajitahidi and I think at the end of the day maybe tunaweza sema wanajaribu kazi yao kuensure that iko sawa.
Davis, na kwa mtazamo wa mawasiliano umeridhishwa na jinsi ambavyo IEBC imekuwa ikiwasiliana na Wakenya kuhusiana na mchakato mzima wa shughuli hii?
Mi nafurahia kwa sababu kila wakati hata kama umelala ukiamka kidogo, ukienda kwa Twitter handle yao ukienda kwa mtandao utaona kwamba wanapeana updates vizuri. Kwa hivyo wanajaribu, lakini Waswahili wasema ngoja ngoja umiza matumbo. Sasa matumbo ndio hayo yanawashawasha sasa.
Lakini pia Waswahili hao wanasema subira uvuta heri.
Basi sasa
Lakini kwa mawasiliano I think changamoto tu imekuwa ile kumove so fast ku counter misinformation. Manake hiyo ina spread so fast. Tumeona supporters wa viongozi ambao wana declare huu mrengo umeshinda, huu mrengo umeshinda. Tumeona wengine wakisema hapana hizi forms, wengine wakisema pia wako na tallying center zao, pia wao wanahesabu wakati zingine zinahesabiwa huku. So I think pia changamoto imekuwa ile ku respond so fast kusema hii si ukweli na ile si ukweli. So in terms of performance, maybe kama wanaweza jitahidi ku ensure that whatever iko pale kwa mtandao, manake Wakenya wako sana kwa mtandao sasa hivi. So ni kujikakamua chochote ambacho kiko kwa mtandao ambacho si cha ukweli una counter immediately, manake ina spread so fast na inaongezea ile tension na anxiousness. Yeah.
Na Wakenya pia tujifundishe, ukipata kitu ujumbe wote usiuamini immediately. I mean, kuna Citizen Digital very updated, you know. Sasa enda katika hizi tovuti za media, hapo utapata habari ambayo imeangaliwa. Ivona ameangalia akasema hii sawa, Mashirima amesema sawa, alafu ndio inapostiwa. Hapo utapata habari ya kweli. Lakini ukiwa unangoja tu unapata kitu na wewe una forward, utajiingiza kwa shida pia.
Manake, I don't know if you saw all these posts on social media where so many people had won and then they hadn't. Others had lost and yet they had won.
Wednesday.
Yes. I mean,
kwanza Wednesday walikuwa nasema matangazo ya governor. Na hiyo ilikuwa haiwezekani. Sababu mpaka polling station iende kwa constituency. Kwa hivyo ma MPs kwanza ndio walikuwa wanajulikana kwanza, si ndio?
Disinformation and misinformation.
Yes.
And I think that's been a very big challenge because either side of the coalition also have their own political bloggers and political bloggers who have a huge following. So at the end of the day, I think it's to ensure that as a commission, you act so fast because every blogger or supporter is going to write and spread information in favor of their side.
Even the candidates themselves, Bina, because many of those presidential teams, all of them are claiming victory.
Exactly.
I mean, other than the one who conceded today, everybody's saying, we have the numbers, we are the fifth.
Hata Wajakoya
amesema he is poised to win.
And then even flipping the percentages. I even saw others flipping the percentages, especially when the tallying was still going on at the media, saying these numbers and this number. I even saw others, someone has already
49.
and then someone just flips the percentages in favor of their own coalition. And I think even as a commission, you have to move so fast to even counter what the candidates and what the supporters and even what the citizens are saying in real time. Because if half the citizens actually getting real-time information from their gadgets from social media, I think we have to move so fast.
But what I don't know is whether the commission has been able, social media is bushfire. It can easily burn a country any given time. And we've been there as a country in 2007 election. You remember what happened? Someone sends a message, the other one says, oh, we're being killed, and they start fighting. So I don't know whether, and I've not been very keen with the IEBC, whether, because this speaks to the IEBC itself. I don't know whether they've been able to keep updating.
There's a couple of things, like when there was word going around that their systems may have been compromised. The commissioner came out and said that wasn't the case. When there was also reports that there were some 10,000 votes in, was it Kiambu constituency, that had been awarded to one candidate irregularly. They sort of counted that. But I think perhaps it's one of those things that it is a community where there's, the rules of engagement are very different on social media as they are if you compare that to, different jurisdictions. But I think also there's the other thing about people just wanting the result fast. And we've all discussed here, I mean, I think several times on various platforms, on this very stage, that there's speed, but there's also accuracy. And the IBC has to walk that very tight balance.
Yes.
They have the time to do it within 7 days, but they can do it quickly, and then everyone says, yay, we have somebody, but there are inaccuracies, there's this, there's that. Or they take their time, and while they do, like those two sayings that Mashirima umetupatia,
something flips up.
which one do you do, at what point? I just want to talk briefly about also the contestation that we've seen on the tallying floor. Allegations, because if you think social media was one thing, what we saw happening on the tallying floor last night was another. And even, social media aside, there was, who's brought in a laptop that shouldn't? And then IBC says, no, come on, people are allowed to have laptops because, they want to download the forms and do their own tallies. And then, allegations back and forth. I think at some point, and I remember, I think this was the last thing before I went to sleep, I heard of GSUs with visors now coming in because, things had gotten quite heated. I mean, Kakai,
that is expected, Yvonne.
Yeah.
On every electoral cycle.
Yeah.
And it's not new. I think it's the nature of us Kenyans. I do remember when Kivuitu, the late Kivuitu, was announcing the results of the 2002. I was actually at KICC at the time.
Yes, that's right.
The ballroom in KICC, that's where it was being announced from. And it happened. And everything went haywire. And within a very short period of time, results were announced.
Yeah.
And the late Kibaki was sworn in. And over and over and over every election, we have that problem. So I think it is the contestation and the fact that the center is brought towards the National Tallying Center.
Yeah.
But also it speaks to IBC. I think at some time, like yesterday, I think they had allowed too many
people inside,
right? Instead of limiting the number of people. The more you are inside very many people, it becomes chaotic.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to say whatever they want to say. So I think it also speaks to IBC. They might have over allowed people to come,
which they managed today. I think they even managed in the course of yesterday, because they started to say the people who are not agents shouldn't be on the tallying floor that we're seeing, and they moved them up to the seats. And then afterwards, they made the decision that even those who are in the seats, exit the amphitheater altogether. And today we've seen some very tight security, including observers who are complaining that accessing Bomas itself was pretty difficult. But there's something that's curious about all of this. So we've concluded pretty much most of the races at the other 5 levels. But look at us. We're all still focused on the Bomas of Kenya. Why? Because we're still waiting for, the presidential results to come in. And so in a sense, it still feels like even 10 years after devolution, our eyes are still focused on the presidency, and it is still, the focus. When the idea was that, now you should be thinking about who your MCA is, who your, ward representative is, and so on and so forth. Davis, is this one of the things that takes time to build? Because all eyes, we're calling Bomas the heart of it, kitovu cha
Nerve center.
Jumlisha, nerve center. We've used all of these terms.
Yeah.
And in a sense, it still does feel like, pre-2010.
I think human beings, we're very interesting. And I think it's the same fanatism that we nashabikia timu za mpira. Unaona sasa watu wanasema mimi ni wa sijui timu gani, mimi wa timu gani, na hiyo inakuwa ni kama ugonjwa. Sasa ukiuliza mtu sasa pale atakayeshinda atakusaidiaje wewe? So I think there's I don't know if it's patriotism or what, but there's a trophy which everyone wants to lift, that the person I was supporting, our time has come, all those kind of things. So, and I think it's a good thing. We just need to ensure that fanatism or that patriotism, if I may be more politically correct, doesn't affect our day-to-day lives.
Is it also because we're yet to see the fruits of devolution, that we're yet to get there, where we make these positions at national level less lucrative? And that's not to say that the presidency is not important, it certainly is, but that we still have this thing. And to some extent also, I believe The same has happened with governors.
Yeah.
You know, remember the fight in the very beginning about calling them Your Excellency and them having a flag on their vehicles. Like it just felt like we'd evolved the same reverence and worship of that one person, and we just brought it to the counties. Is it also something that will take us time? Are we the ones who are not quick to adapt to this new dispensation?
It will take time, but I think of the sessions, we were looking at it and pointing to the apathy that we might suffer as a country, because when you support a certain formation and you're so sure you're going to win, then you don't win, unaanza kuchoka. Sasa hiyo tujaribu tuone how can we be so transparent so that the trust deficit that we have is taken care of, so that when you lose, you actually lost and you have a chance to do it again. That is so critical. But tuendelee kupenda viongozi wetu. Tukiwa shule zilikuwa zinafungwa, tunakuja kushabikia yule mtu alikuwa anatuletea maziwa.
Oh my God. Yeah, by the way, the schools used to close.
Unakujwa.
Mashirima wakumbuka?
Wakati mmoja nikiwa darasa la kwanza tuliletewa maziwa.
That must have been the only time.
Alafu 9 ya kwanza inapita saa 3. President anakuja saa 7.
Exactly, yes. Mko hapo nje ya shule imefungwa. Mko hapo nje saa 3 za asubuhi.
Yes.
And I think also just generally the the presidency sets the tone of the tone in terms of the direction the country will take when it comes to development, and that is why both sides have an agenda, and they're like, if you elect me, I'm going to fulfill 1, 2, 3. And even the outgoing government right now, they campaigned on the agenda of the big 4. So it means even when they come in, all the leaders have to support the big 4 agenda, because that is what they've said they're going to do when they occupy office. And that's the same thing we're seeing right now. Each and every other person says, I'm going to focus on this. And that is why we even have whether it's the hustler narrative, whether it's the Azimio in terms of I'm going to ensure whether citizens have this amount of money at the end of the month. Everyone has a big agenda that they want to fulfill. So whoever occupies office, it's that means they have a big task to ensure that they fulfill that agenda through even the leaders who've been actually elected to office. Yeah.
And I also guess the presidency, the question that Yvonne was asking, the president is still sweet, the pot is still sweet, even though the constitution devolved certain functions.
Yeah, but 85% of the funds still remain, at the national level.
Because remember, as the president, you are the head of state, commander-in-chief, you are managing the 3 arms of government, you will appoint people to be ambassadors, all those kinds. So it's more still, the powers is still really there, and therefore the interest on the presidency is very key, forgetting that certain functions actually develop.
Lakini kwa hilo la kile ambacho Bina amesema kwamba the presidency sets the tone, utapata kwamba wakati ambapo yule ambaye atakayeshinda ataapishwa, kuna wabunge ambao watahisi kuwa kwa sababu hawana ukuruba na rais, basi hawatapata maendeleo katika maeneo yao. Na nadhani sio tu dhana, ni jambo ambalo wale wanaotoka maeneo ambayo yametajwa kuwa yaliyotengwa kwa miaka mingi wamekuwa wakihisi hivyo. Ni vipi ambavyo Kenya itaweza kufanya huu urais usionekane kana kwamba kwa sababu huna ukaribu nao basi hutapata maendeleo?
Actually, that's no longer, I don't know, I think it's probably lack of understanding or civic education within the citizenry, because it's the 3 arms of government are completely separated, unlike those days where a member of parliament will feel disenfranchised. With the CDF now, and I think the other day the CDF was said to be unconstitutional, and is no longer operational. I think when the new parliament comes in place, they know how they will have to deal with it. I don't think that's a problem, because the functions of a member of parliament is cut in the constitution. And therefore, if they stick to what they're supposed to be doing, these other issues are for devolution. So I think that that's the issue that we really need to understand, that a member of parliament should not fail to deliver what they're supposed to deliver and come and say, I was not supported by the president.
Yes.
There's no interlinkage
But
completely.
you still see that even, I think, amongst, the politicians and the leaders themselves, that perhaps they don't have that understanding.
Yes.
How many troops did we see still going to State House?
Exactly.
And, literally with their begging bowls, tumekuja hapa, tutarudi na barabara.
It's only Moi, President Moi, who enjoyed that power.
Yes, but we still see that even now with the leaders. And so, when you see the leaders behaving that way, you'd expect the citizens to think, oh, okay, so it looks like things are still the same.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter that, things have been devolved. Do you think there must be something that is done with respect to devolution in terms of two things? One, do you think we need to devolve more functions? And two, we need to devolve more funds? And I know the principle is funds follow function. For people have complained about the health ministry, health is devolved, but a big portion of the budget still remains at the national level. Bina, do we need to devolve more resources or more functions, or both?
I think we need to devolve more resources, because I think that has been the bone of contention, even with the outgoing government, in terms of having adequate resources to deliver on your agenda. So most definitely, we need to devolve more resources, but also at the end of the day, ensure that we deliver on our mandate, and that also the citizens understand the leaders' mandate, even when they're holding them accountable on their roles at the county level, but also what the national what the national government ought to do as well.
On the health side, and I think if you look at what was devolved, these are issues which touch us on a day-to-day basis. So there's a lot of, scapegoating, corruption is being perpetrated, then delay in disbursements, or hatuna uhusiano mzuri na the house at the hill is being blamed. So leaders need to be accountable. The MPs have been given this almost 100 million every year. The few who have done what needs to be done are being re-elected, easily. The governors who have tried to do what they need to do, they even end up attracting other stakeholders. Makueni has been like the headquarters of all the NGOs. Kila mtu anataka kwenda hapo kufanya program huko, because Professor had a framework which was working. He was able to attract stakeholders to go and support. The same with Isiolo on the health side. So watu wafanye kazi, wananchi waamke, wajue pesa viongozi wanapewa, wawajibike na wafanye kazi vile inavyotakikana.
And, that issue of devolution and the funds is something that is, I think, very important in terms of the promises that have been made by both sides of the main political divide. I think both of them are promising to devolve more funds, up to 35%. Davis, if I can just stick with you, what sort of environment, what are they inheriting? What's the in-tray in terms of promises? One has said 6,000 shillings to vulnerable families, one has said Baba Care, and another has talked about a hustlers fund. These are made, Davis. What does this mean for the people that you work with in those communities?
There's a lot of expectation, and in a sense, I keep saying the Kenyans have won. They have won in this sense that the election had issues, and the issues and the expectations made the leaders to give very specific promises. So whichever way it goes, there's something which must be delivered. Whether it will be delivered or not, it's another thing. So the expectation is that these economic empowerment initiatives will come to play. But what rings in my mind right now is there are other initiatives already within the framework of the previous.
Okay, my sister Samira, you've asked about the Big Four agenda. So the Big Four agenda is like is actually belongs to the incumbent president, President Uhuru Kenyatta. He's the one who came up with the Big Four agenda. And one of them is housing, the other one is food security, and I think infrastructure. But yeah, it's just, I think it's housing, security, food security, infrastructure, basically a lot of the things that we talk about here in One Africa. But yeah, that was the Big Four agenda. It began I think 4 years ago, but it's basically the shortfalls of the shortfalls of African government, basically, or the shortfalls on an African country, the Big Four agenda. So that's really the Big Four agenda. It's just housing, food security, industrialization, and the infrastructure. I hope I answered you well, and I'm actually enjoying this conversation with these ladies are having with this guy. As you can see, the Kenyan Kiswahili is mixing Kiswahili and English. Really, nice sana your story. But yeah, the voting is still underway. I mean, not the voting. The tallying is still underway in the Bomas of Kenya. These are actually live videos. The guy you are seeing there is a nominated senator. Yeah, the big guys are beginning to enter. So I think these guys, we might even have the declaration even here right now in this stream, but I doubt it. I think it's going to be around tomorrow midday or afternoon. But yeah, so far, but as you are saying, my sister Samira, so far it's the Big Four agenda is it's food security, housing, manufacturing, and healthcare. It's not infrastructure. Yeah. So basically, I think we are trying to implement. Already, the previous government has been trying to implement universal healthcare in Kenya. It's not cheap. Healthcare is very expensive, especially if you're not industrialized as a country, meaning all these things that are required you're importing. It becomes even way, way, way expensive, but they are really trying to do it. I think Rwanda has achieved Rwanda has achieved universal healthcare. But here we are trying. We are hopefully, although the next president will see, maybe Ruto will bring it, maybe Raila will bring it. Raila was trying to push for unemployment checks for 6,000 shillings. I'm not going to convert it into dollars because it looks better when it's in English in Kenyan shillings. But yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, let's continue.
Or the existing legislation, like this AGPO, which reserves 30% procurement by government to the youth, women, and the persons with disability. If you look at the numbers, the absorption rate is very low. I'm not sure if the Youth Enterprise Fund, the Women Enterprise Fund, the National Council of Persons with Disabilities is fully resourced to meet the demand that is there. So we are actually seeing people really proposing new solutions, forgetting that within the existing framework, there are things which should just be implemented. So they're inheriting a lot of high expectations. The resources ni finye, vile Waswahili wanasema. Finyo. Pesa hakuna. Sasa mtafanyaje? Hii 35% itatoka wapi? Sasa watu wanalalamika hiyo 15% yenyewe haiji. Sasa unasema 35-40% itatoka wapi?
And the issues of issues as people think of even devolving more funds.
Yes.
We need to be asking ourselves, audits have been done where even what county governments are getting, they're not properly utilized. So there's a lot of pilferage, there's a lot of corruptions going on because corruption was at the center. As we devolved, we also devolved corruption down there. And look at the foreign debts that we are finding ourselves in to sustain. Our budget's in trillions to sustain the economy. Just how feasible is it that now someone will be asking for more money to go down there, and you're not able to account for what you received?
So this essentially, I mean, what I hear you say is things won't get better right away.
No.
Because there's a lot of issues that they have to deal with that they have inherited.
Yes.
So there's the issue of debt, where every day for this financial year will require about over 3 billion shillings a day
Yes.
to pay back the debt that we currently owe.
Yes.
So were these promises made in, without thinking of the realities? And, what should citizens do in that respect, Bina?
I think as we are saying is the fact that we have plans, we have even policies that we've not implemented. And even as we're making promises to capture the citizens' interest and have them vote for us, there was no clear way in terms of how we're even going to raise that money. I think even in the debates that we saw, both sides of the coalition did not even come up with clear strategies in terms of how they're even going to manage this debt crisis. So if you're not coming up even with clear strategies on how you're going to manage the debt crisis, where are you even getting the extra resources to sustain the plans that you have? I think about 60% of the revenue we collect goes into servicing this debt. And I think that's the one we're talking about, the 3 billion every other day. Then you're promising that you're going to give maybe resources monthly, or even the fund that you're going to create, yet you're not also showing us as citizens what are these strategies, where are you getting extra resources, what are you going to invest in that has a good return on investment to ensure that you're able to fund the plans that you have. So even with this incoming government, it's going to be a tall order to fulfill half the promises they made on the campaign trail.
Yeah. And my free advice to the incoming governors and all these leaders is, if you just focus on efficiency, let the system work, let the government work the way it should work. Maajabu itaonekana.
David, tutaendelea na huo mkondo wa mazungumzo kuhusiana na yule ambaye ataingia atakuwa na kibarua kipi, lakini kwa sasa hebu tuelekee katika eneo la Bomas ambapo bila shaka umekuwa ukiona hizo picha hapo, waangalizi mmoja wapo akiwa ni balozi wa Marekani hapa nchini Kenya, Bi Meg Whitman, pamoja na naibu mwenyekiti wa chama cha Jubilee David Murathe na viongozi wengine tu ambao wako katika eneo hilo. Nimrod Tabu pamoja na Wahiga Mwaora wanazidi tu kufuatilia matukio hapo. Nimrod, hujambo? Ni nini haswa ambacho kinaendelea hivi sasa? Je, tunatarajia kwamba IEBC itatangaza matokeo kutoka maeneo bunge 77 yaliyosalia?
Naam, asante sana Mashirima Kapombe pamoja na Yvonne Okware ambao mko hapo studio. Bila shaka tunakujia moja kwa moja kutoka ukumbi wa Bomas, na kama ulivyosema tumeweza kuona matukio yakiendelea hapa, wageni na vile vile wajumbe wanaowakilisha maeneo tofauti ya wale wagombea urais.
So the American ambassador is here. I don't know what I'm getting. I don't know why that guy is. Americans are poking their business and just everywhere. Like, you're not needed here. Why is the American ambassador in this place? He is not. Why? Why is he there? These are just annoying things. Like, come on, guys. We don't need to admire these guys. They would never let the Kenyan ambassador in the polling stations or when they are tallying in the US. They would never let the Kenyan ambassador there. Why are we inviting the American ambassador here? It's not. Let him go. Let him stick to the embassy. Why is he? And this is where I don't know who needs to win so that this type of foolishness ends. But hopefully the next government just sobers up and stops this drunken fascination with the West, with the West. Oh, the American ambassador is here. Everybody's like, no, we're not impressed. And this American ambassador has the most weirdest name. Her name is Whitman, which basically white man. I don't know what's up with this guy. And this one this one was chosen by Joe Biden. So I don't know. The fact that it's a she actually. The fact that she was chosen by Joe Biden, it just makes me suspicious. It's like, I don't know. No, look at them. Look at those guys. I don't know why are Mzungus in this sacred place where Kenyan democracy is happening. Somebody, So annoying. And you know, the last time there was this Mzungu called Kennedy, you know? Is it man, I've forgotten his name. He's actually in the Biden government right now. Yeah, he's a secretary of something in the Biden government right now. Is it John Kennedy? Not John Kennedy. I've forgotten his name. He ran for presidency in the 2000s or something for American presidency, but he came in 2017 and he gave the election a thumbs up. But then the Supreme Court of Kenya said, no, this election is flawed. So this guy, their credibility is zero. They don't have any credibility. They should not be here where Kenyans who are more even qualified and more learned than them, you know, they don't know shit. They should be in them. Let the Mzungus be in the embassies. Leave them Mzungus in the embassies. They are not. How do they even get the accreditation? You know, how do you accredit him to, you know, where did the clearance come from? You know, you shouldn't have the clearance to enter this place because they are politicians of Kenya. They have been denied entry here. The guys of like James Orengo, they have been denied entry. But you are allowing Dusty Wazungus. Nah, this is a bad taste on such a very beautiful night. But yeah, hopefully they make their leave because I don't know, and it stinks of interference. You know, like what is their like? They're just like this. They're just expressing that they have interests in this election. Just blatantly expressing they're having interests in this election. You know. So maybe I don't know who. Maybe Samira Ruto will deal with them. Maybe Raila, but Raila, honestly, as much I really love Raila, but that aspect of him I don't like. Even him, he seems to be more admiring of Mzungus. I don't like that aspect of him because I always see he was been traveling a lot to Europe and the US. Although Ruto has been doing the same thing, you know. But Raila does it and he takes pictures on Instagram and all these things. So yeah, but let me not get into too much on this. But currently, as we can see in the screen, you will see maybe they'll flash to him, but the ambassador of America has joined this, is spoiling the party, basically. I don't know, I hope some politician, I hope Esther Passaris does something. Ah, yes. The Roots, is this Roots party? Or do you know, let's see what this guy's talking about. But it looks like maybe this is the agent for the Roots party.
Uchaguzi umekuwa imara na kadhalika, na je, wanaridhika na shughuli ambayo inaendelea kwa hivi sasa? Namuona Josephat Nanok ambaye alikuwa gavana wa kaunti ya Turkana, ambaye kwa sasa hivi ndiye anaongoza ujumbe wa uchaguzi wa urais wa naibu rais William Ruto, akiwa anazungumza na hawa wachunguzi wa uchaguzi huu ambao ulikamilika siku ya Jumanne, na hivi sasa tu ni masuala ya kura kuweza kuthibitishwa baada ya kuanza kuhesabiwa Jumatano hadi kufikia siku ya Alhamisi. Kwa hivyo bado tukiliko hapa katika ukumbi wa Bomas, walioko wengi, wengine waliojaa mbali na wanasiasa na maejenti ni pamoja na wanahabari, na hivi sasa namuona gavana aliyechaguliwa Siaya James Orengo vile vile akizungumza na seneta wa Elgeyo Marakwet Onesmus Murkomen pamoja na Amos Wako vile vile wakiweza kuzungumza hapa. Ndio hali ilivyo kwa sasa. Tumeweza kuona hali tofauti na ilivyokuwa jana, ambapo kulikuwa na cheche za maneno, kulikuwa na hisia za hasira na ghadhabu, lakini mpaka sasa hivi tumeweza kuona shughuli inaendelea vizuri. Vile vile wanajumuika pamoja na Jackson Mandago ambaye alikuwa gavana wa kaunti ya Uasin Gishu, lakini hivi sasa amechaguliwa kama seneta wa kaunti ya Uasin Gishu. Kwa hivyo wote wanajuliana hali. Siwezi kujua wanasemezana nini, hawako karibu sana na nilipo mimi, lakini naweza kuwaona. Lakini bila shaka ni hali ya ucheshi, ni hali ya kupongezana kwa jinsi walivyokimbizana na kukwaruzana katika masuala ya kampeni na hatimaye uchaguzi. Na nafikiri hii ni ishara ya kwamba baada ya hapa lazima tufahamu kwamba Kenya lazima isonge mbele, liwe liwalo. Atakayetangazwa mshindi, atakayeibuka mshindi, ikumbuka kwamba sote kama Wakenya ni washindi, kwa sababu ishara hii ya viongozi hawa kuzungumza, japo wao ni washindi katika maeneo tofauti, wanafahamu kwamba sio kila mtu waliojaribu kumtetea katika kiti cha urais ataibuka mshindi. Manake ni mmoja tu ndiye anaweza kuwa mshindi kwa wakati mmoja katika uchaguzi wa taifa. Kwa hivyo Senator James Orengo, Mheshimiwa Amos wako, Jackson Mandago, seneta mteule wa kaunti ya Uasin Gishu, na vile vile Kipchumba Murkomen, seneta mteule ambaye ameweza kuhifadhi kiti chake cha useneti katika kaunti ya Elgeyo Marakwet, wakiweza kujadiliana kwa mapana na marefu. Kwa hivyo ndio hali ilivyo kwa sasa, wengi tu wakiwa katika hali ya ucheshi, kuna wengine pia katika hali ya uchovu. Lakini yamkini maandalizi hapa yamekuwa shwari, manake kuna sehemu ambapo watu wanaweza kupata maji ya sharbeti, watu wanaweza kupata maji, kahawa, ili kuendelea kusalia macho, kwa sababu shughuli hii lazima iweze kukamilika kwa watu kuitazama na kwa watu kuithibitisha. Kwa hivyo ndio hali ilivyo kwa sasa. Zaidi tunaenda kuangalia wapiga picha pia. Kama unavyoona ndio sehemu ambayo tunaweza kupata picha za moja kwa moja wanapozungumza makamishna. Hii ndio sehemu ambapo wanahabari wenzangu wapiga picha pia wameweza kujumuika kuweza kutoa taarifa za moja kwa moja. Wengi ambao tumefahamiana, tumefanya kazi nao pamoja, tunakutana mara nyingi katika shughuli kama hizi. Kwa hivyo pia sisi tunajumuika sawia na vile wanasiasa wanavyofanya, japo tuko katika kampuni Yvonne Okwara na Mashirima Kapombe, japo tuko katika kampuni zenye ushindani, mara nyingine utatuona hapa tumekusanyika tukipiga stori sawia na wanavyofanya wanasiasa kutoka mirengo tofauti ambayo ni yenye upinzani. Kwa hivyo tunaendelea kusubiri yote yatakayokuwa yakiendelea hapa. Tutatazamia pengine tuweze kumuuliza mawili matatu, lakini sijui kama atakuwa mwepesi wa kutupa majibu balozi wa Marekani, lakini najua nilikuwa nimezungumza na maafisa wake hapo awali ikiwa wanaweza kutupa maoni, lakini wakasema sio kwa sasa, watasubiri. Kwa hivyo nafikiri hali itakuwa ni hiyo kwa sasa. Nimeeleza mengi tu, lakini bila shaka ni hali ambayo inapendeza kwa sasa hivi, baadhi ya viongozi kuweza kufika na kujumuika pamoja, tukisubiri tu kufikia kesho kama tume hii ya IEBC itakuwa imeweza kukamilisha ratiba yake na kazi yake na kuweza kutuarifu aidha mshindi au itatubidi tusubiri hadi siku ya Jumanne, manake bado katiba inawapa kibali ya kufanya tangazo la nani atakayekuwa mshindi. Kwa sasa nawaona baadhi ya maejenti wakiwa bado wanaendelea kuzunguka katika ukumbi huu, mmoja akiwa vile vile gavana wa kaunti ya Elgeyo Marakwet, Wellesley Korir, pia ni mmoja wa maejenti, na vile vile wengine wengi tu nikimuona pia vigogo wengine. Beatrice Elachi kwa mfano pia ni ejenti kutoka upande huu mwingine, akiwa yuko katikati ya ukumbi huu akisemezana na wenzake kuhusiana na jinsi zoezi hili linavyoendelea. Kwa hivyo maejenti ni wengi ambao tunawafahamu, wengi ni wanasiasa, wengine si wanasiasa, wengine ni waakili, wengine pia ni wataalam katika masuala ya mawasiliano na teknolojia, ama ukipenda IT. Kwa hivyo wengi wamejumuika hapa, kila mmoja akitaka kuhakikisha kwamba kuthibitishwa kwa fomu hizi kunaendelea katika hali shwari na kwamba hakuna dosari zozote zimeweza kunukuliwa. Kwa hivyo ndivyo hali ilivyo kwa sasa. Nafikiri niwarudishe kwenu studio muweze kuendelea na mengine, na ikiwa kutakuwa na mengine mengi basi tutawaarifu, manake hivi sasa zimesalia tu dakika kama 13 kabla ya saa 6, na hatujaweza kufahamu iwapo makamishna watatokea tena kutangaza matokeo mengine, lakini ikiwa hilo litafanyika, bila shaka moja kwa moja tutakuja hapa katika ukumbi wa Bomas kuarifu zaidi. Kazi kwako Mashirima Kapombe na Yvonne Okwara.
Naam, Nimrod, bila shaka hizo picha kama ulivyosema zinapendeza, maanake ni tofauti na jinsi ilivyokuwa hapo jana kuwaona wenyewe upande huu wa Kenya Kwanza na UDA na upande wa Azimio, watu wakiwa wanaonekana kwamba ni marafiki, na nadhani hilo ndio swala ambalo Wakenya huambiwa mara kwa mara kwamba hawa watu ni ushindani tu, lakini huku kando, wakati ambapo mtu atashinda na mwingine atashindwa, bado watakaa pamoja wanywe chai. Ni wewe ujiulize ni nani atakualika unywe chai naye, na nadhani hilo ni jirani yako ndo nadhani hivyo wewe utanialika mimi na labda Davis na Bina na Kakai, lakini wale pia ni marafiki kivyao.
I hope utatuletea yale mahamri because you make some very good ones.
Lazima.
Yeah, I'm loving that. So, and you're all welcome. That'll be the tea that we will have, after this. But that's an interesting picture because things have really come down from, what we saw yesterday. In the closing minutes of our session here together, I'd like us to look ahead and look forward to what happens thereafter. Kakai, just take us through assumption of office, what happens. This is likely to happen, once we know who's won, as is tomorrow, most likely, at the very latest, Tuesday. So there are some important constitutional steps that now happen thereafter. In fact, I think just this week we saw a press conference from government officials headed by Joseph Kenyan, just talking about the fact that they're getting ready because these are things that happen, are part of the constitutional process, even as they await this result from the Bomas of Kenya.
Thank you. I think these are what we call transitional mechanisms that have been put in place. First of all, at the executive level, we have that assumption of office committee, which is already in operation. This committee normally brings together people from different arms of government and government departments. So you will see Treasury is represented there, Judiciary is represented there, Parliament is represented there, and Foreign Affairs, Interior, all these kind of things, because it's a security thing that has to deal with it. Now, they are ready, and they came out strongly, I think, on Thursday, saying that we are willing to hand over the reins of power to whoever comes to office, because these are civil servants. Civil service never change. It remains as is. So I think that once now the president-elect is proposed tomorrow, announced officially by the IBC, he doesn't become the president, he becomes the president-elect. And therefore, he will now start transitional mechanisms. President Uhuru will now start taking him through what it is that is taking over the country, and he will get briefings from the committee, and the committee at that time has the power and privilege to call even the exiting cabinet secretaries, should the position have changed. So they will be now handing over in terms of this is the status, security status of the country, this is how it is. So those time frames are there. And also the judiciary is also involved, because at that point, they'll be telling the incoming president when they're supposed to be sworn in and all this. So these mechanisms are ongoing. And the whole idea is to ensure that transition is smooth enough that the incoming president-elect knows what is actually happening. He has no role at the moment other than to soak in and understand that these are the responsibility that I'm taking over.
Yeah, because it's one thing, to be on the outside, but it's another thing to now be on the inside. And you're told, kabati ndio hii, vikombe viko hapa chini.
Exactly.
This is where the spoons are. Curtains ndio hizi hapa.
And at the same time, the president-elect is putting up his team.
Yes. So those things are happening at the same time.
At the same time. He's putting up his team, who is going to be the Minister for Trade. I think the Minister of Information will be Yvonne Okwara, the Minister of this, that kind of a thing. So it's basically learning, but also forming his government internally.
And it's a very quick process, isn't it? I mean, you get in and you hit the ground running.
Yes.
I mean, there really is no probation. I mean, this is it. So you're in there, and now you start to, so there's a fuel subsidy that's probably ending by the end of the year.
You have to deal with
you have to deal with that. And already this proverbial 100 days, we've of course borrowed this from other jurisdictions. But why these people put this pressure on themselves, I will never understand. But, they do anyway, Bina. So once that announcement is made tomorrow or the day after, you'll start counting the 100 days?
I'll start counting the 100 days and also already start telling my people on ground.
Yeah.
When you're on site, sasa kazi yetu imeanza, holding the leaders accountable. But I think before actually they settle down and the leaders even understand what they are taking in. And then, you know, we've been talking about even the mess that they're inheriting, you know, and the challenges and what lies ahead of them. It's my hope that even as, you know, we look at even rewarding loyalty, because sometimes that is what happened, that we are going to ensure that you are appointing leaders who are up to the task, you know, who merit those positions, because the challenges ahead of us need leaders who are competent, disciplined, and ready to get to work.
Davis, kwako wewe unatarajia nini mara tu rais ambaye amechaguliwa atatangaza?
I think natarajia mambo ya joto la kisiasa lipungue. La pili, yeye sasa ametoka kutoka mwaniaji, amekuwa rais mteule. Kwa hivyo ana jukumu la kuenda upande ule mwingine, amsalimie mwenzake na taifa lije pamoja. Nafikiri hiki ni kitu cha muhimu sana, na wale ambao wameshindwa waambiwe sasa mtulie, sote tuko pamoja kama nchi na tuende pamoja mbele. Na la pili ni vile nilikuwa nimesema, let's not seek to reinvent so much, you know. Tumepata kabati, sasa hii kabati nataka ikuwe upside down. Hivi vikombe ndio utakuwa vijiko na vijiko itakuwa vikombe. Utajipatia stress ya bure. Vile tumeambiwa na wakili, civil servants wako pale to create stability. So go in with your style. Of course you had your manifesto, but seek to work with people and towards the objectives which you promised. 100 days, 99 days, sasa mimi sijui itakuwa vipi.
And even honestly, if there's one pressing need that I would even say, just deal with it.
Yeah.
The cost of living. If you actually deal with the cost of living in the first 100 days, I think the citizens will feel it, because that is one of the most challenging issues we're dealing with across the board at the community level.
Do you think it's possible to do that within 100 days?
No, I think
because there's certain things you have to maybe take through taxation, reduce taxation here and there and figure that out.
I think if we actually focus on if it's policy, if it's taxation, what do we need to do to ensure that within the first 100 days, we're putting mechanisms in place that are going to lower that cost of living for the citizen, because it will trickle down.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough. You know, I was going to say there's a story, Mashirima, that you did that I have never forgotten. And I remember how you fought for that story. I don't know if you recall. So Mashirima went around the country and looked for projects that one MP starts. When his term ends, that project is abandoned. The incoming comes in and starts either a similar one or something totally different. And so there's lack of continuity. So there were a lot of ghost projects that were left dead by the previous MP from 10 years ago, from 15 years ago. It's lying there fallow because one MP does not want to be seen to be furthering the legacy of another. And that was such a powerful story because, you know, we'd never seen some of those projects. And you remember you showed us some of those. Kilifi, yes. Some of those projects in Kilifi County. Was it even a county then?
It was a county, but
it was just
Nimrod ndo alifanya juzi ya kwenda county mbalimbali. Na nadhani hilo ndio swala ambalo nadhani mimi kwa sababu nilikuwa katika kaunti ya Kilifi wakati huo ni jambo ambalo liliniuma kwa sababu watu wanachagua viongozi na hata kama wanawabadilisha bado wanataka huduma fulani ziweze kuwafikia. Kwa hivyo mtu akifanya kitu kimefika nusu kisha akiache katikati, yule ambaye anaumia ni mwananchi.
So the one who comes in amalizie, and then we sort of build on that. But is that something we hope for? You know, continuity is important, isn't it, Kakai? That you don't come in like David said, kazi ya kikombe napewa kijiko na kijiko.
Change for the sake of change.
Tutakunywa chai tukitumia kijiko, that sort of thing. Yeah.
I think that becomes a very it's problematic, because unlike the executive, where probably certain projects will be picked up by the incoming president to go on. I think that has been a curse in our Kenyan government in terms of leadership, and I don't know how to solve that. neither is it anchored in law. Assume a former member of parliament they began building a school. Then he loses the election. First of all, he never hands over anything, because the last time you are seeing him is during the campaigns. Once he's lost the election and he's announced he's the loser, you will never see him again. He's gone.
Yeah.
So there's no briefing or handing over to the incoming member of parliament for whatever reasons. That used to happen then. Now, I don't know whether now, as of now, on matters devolution, if we scale up to the governors, a governor begins a certain project, and then that project is not completed. The beauty of serving 2 terms is you ensure that you complete the projects. The problem of serving 1 term is there's no continuity.
But shouldn't there be
But
continuity?
there should be continuity, because the only problem with that is that once you lose county government, once you lose the election, you go with your, what are they called?
Your team.
With your team,
Yeah.
especially the
county.
Some MCS might remain because they might fight in, but the county ministers are all wiped out.
Yeah.
So there's no proper transition. But I guess it's something that each county government who has lost the governor should now take an initiative on their own to say this is what we began. If you think you can continue with it, fine.
But shouldn't they? Because if the residents of the county identify that our need is to have a hospital within every kilometer for, that maybe citizens of this county should not have to travel more than 2 kilometers to the next health center. And so this governor who is here has started building those. It's not that the needs of the county residents have changed.
Exactly.
They still want that clinic, that dispensary, that cattle dip, that, whatever project it is. Those needs don't change. And so, continue that, finish on that. Then, also do yours, but because now one person comes in, this is their priority, another one comes in, whose priority?
It's normally a political
tool. It's not the leaders, it's the people's priority.
The problem with that is that a political tool, because probably he will be saying, look, he picked what I was doing. He was not able to do that.
And the other thing is new projects are subject to procurement. And as you do those things, things happen. Yes,
Lakini pia at the same time kuna swala la ubaguzi wa sehemu mbalimbali. Maanake ukiangalia hata kama county ni ashakumsima tu kabila moja, utapata kuna labda mbari ama clans ambazo ni tofauti, kwamba yule ambaye amesimamia kama ni gavana anaanza na miradi ambayo inafaidi mbari yake, lakini wakati ambapo anaondoka mwingine akiingia nasema hawa wamefaidi muda mrefu, wacha tushughulike na hawa wengine. Hili swala la ukabila na mbari tutawezaje kuliepuka, Bina?
I think one thing I'm actually glad is especially the youthful generation is trying to overcome the tribalism that we see in the leadership space. And I think for me is to challenge even the county leaders, and now that we're talking about county government, because when you're campaigning, you're not actually campaigning on the basis of, like this tribe, because you need all the tribes to support you to win that particular seat. So you owe everyone in that particular county services, and especially if you made promises, and for the governors who are seeking second term, you owe them the services. And if you did public participation and they identified areas of need, then you owe them that. And for the new leaders who are coming in, I think let's move away from this thing of just wanting to be associated with a project to delivering for the people. Because I feel like that is why we have some of those told projects, because you come in, you want to be associated specifically with a particular project, So let's move from that, because if we are saying development is actually bigger than one individual, you're coming in to serve the people. Why do you want to abandon this particular project that was started by the previous government that is benefiting the citizen to start something new that is even costing more? Well, you could finish this and move to another thing because the citizen said this was a need. The executive team that was in the previous government identified priority areas. And if we are not done with the priority areas, I think get in and continue those priority areas because they benefit all of us, right? Yeah.
Nadhani Yvonne, kuna hili swala la mpito ambalo kuna mtazamaji mmoja John Kinuthia amesema kwamba ni swala muhimu sana. Labda unaweza kufuatilia swali hilo, maanake kutafsiri kwa Kiswahili.
I presume mpito is transition. Good, yeah. So good lessons, Mashirima. So this viewer says, we have a major weakness and gap in transition of governors, senators, MPs. There's need to perform transition just like the presidential or deputy presidential functions. Or perhaps we should consider adopting an election cycle where, you know, in the US, where only a third of senators or MPs are elected at a time, and then there are midterm elections, you know, to ensure that there's always continuity. Kakai?
I think the only thing you can't ensure continuity because we've put our electoral cycle to 5 years. Meaning after every 5 years you change.
And we change all
of them.
Yeah.
So those who will continue for the second term is just luck. So certain counties or whatever will have transitional mechanisms.
Should we consider staggered elections?
I'll come to that. But the only thing that we need to do is we need probably to anchor the issues of transition in a legal framework. So that it's anchored in a legal framework that once you are exiting as a governor, you must exactly, and then anchor the same that development projects that were begun by that governor must actually be completed somehow in the new term, so that you minimize wastage and pilferage.
But then
Because
we are legislating everything.
Yeah,
what a matter of good manners, like you know, common sense.
It's supposed to be common sense, but the problem is that common sense is not bought in a supermarket. So you need to really have policies in place, even if you're not legislating. At least some
policy or regulation.
Yeah, and regulations.
But I think, Yvonne, this is also where public participation becomes very important, because then the incoming leaders, when they're holding public participation, they're telling you their plans, their budgets, and their priority area. And I think we have an opportunity to challenge them in terms of, if there's a project that has stalled, why aren't you investing in this project? Why aren't you plugging in resources in this particular project? So I think it becomes very important for us to also engage and ensure that leaders don't just have their own agenda, but they have our agenda at heart.
Yeah, that I guess would do it. I'd like us to bring this coverage, at least for now, to a close. I'd like some closing comments. Davis, shall we start with you? Your final thoughts as we are now in a new day. It is now the 15th day of August 2022.
Hopefully it is the day we will know. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes. My final shot is that Kenyans, we've done what we need to do. The election is a process. We voted. It has moved to institutions who have a constitutional requirement to do certain things. So let's go back to our businesses. Let's go back to our work. Let's follow, you know, through the media and those kind of things. I mean, whoever has won has won. Whoever has lost has lost. I mean, they are getting jobs. So let's just be calm, be peaceful the way we've been. We've done our bit. I saw someone saying, you voted. Sasa kama hawezi chunga hiyo kura ulimpatia, hiyo ni shida yake. So let's go back to our things and you know, resume our life. And we pray that God continues to bless our country. Thank you. Yeah.
I think for me, I'll say there's a lot ahead of us. We have a country to build beyond the elections being announced, hopefully tomorrow. And once the elections have been announced, let this not change the way we see our neighbors. Let the different coalitions not affect us. We need each other beyond, you know, the election results. And let's do it peacefully. I mean, I'll just keep on preaching peace and peace and peace, because the development of this country thrives on a peaceful nation.
For me, I think we've had a rough and very interesting campaign for the last 2 years. Actually, we began campaigning after the last election. So we've been very busy campaigning, and we've been very busy seeing what's going on. We've come to the end of the campaign. The elections are done now, dusted. We just want to see what happens out of it. So my focus will be my plea to the IEBC, because at the end of the day, is the referee that we've been waiting for. And so that IEBC stands up, upholds the Constitution, upholds the Elections Act, does what is right for this country. And then with that, I think there'll be peace. We don't want anything, no justice, no peace, no peace, no, you know, IBC just has to do the right thing.
Indeed. So that's where we bring it to a close. Thank you very much, Kakai Kissinger, Bina Maseno, and Davis, for being with us today. We really appreciate your time and your insights. It's great to have you with us and to keep you past your bedtime.
Naam, asante sana kwa wageni wetu na pia wale ambao wamezidi tu kutuma jumbe wakiwa wana maswali. Nadhani tumejaribu jinsi tunavyoweza kuwasilisha maswali hayo, na sote tuna matumaini kwamba kesho ndio siku kuu hata si kesho, ni leo. Leo ndio itakuwa siku kuu ambapo tutajua rais aliyechaguliwa kwa taifa la Kenya, rais wa 5 atakuwa ni nani. Mtazamaji, kufikia hapo hatuna la ziada. Tunatamatisha matangazo haya kutoka hapa na kutoka Bomas, ambapo Nimrod Tabu na Wahiga Mwaura wako. Asubuhi tutarejea, kutakuwa na awamu nyingine ya wananchi wengine. Usiku mwema.
Asanteni kwa kuja, tutazidi kuwajalisha huko Swahili Nation. Haya maneno yakiendelea, yakizidi kuendelea, pia tuwajulisha sisi kama wana journalisti kwa Kiswahili yetu ya Kikenya. Tutakusaidia, lakini wanahabari. Nimekumbuka. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. Thank you thank you guys for coming, and thank you guys for checking out what's happening in Kenya. Thank you Maria Antoinette for your best wishes. Samira, yeah, unajua ubaya Raila. Okay, yeah, he's old, man. He's old. But all these candidates, those 2 candidates, they all have their issues. That's what I think. All of them have their issues. So yeah, should we make another Mau Mau? No, we should not make a. Yeah, I think we should though. We should be militant. Like any vile wazungu wanatupenda, like wanatuboa sana wazungu. Kuja yani they're just pushing your noses in everything. Like hata mjaalikwa mmekuja hapa tu kutusumbua. Yani shida tu hazieleweki. Sawa. Na historia ya Kibera, Kibera akili wameanza kujenga wameanza kujenga high rise hapo by the na ni gava ni serikali nimeanza kujenga hizo high rise. Wameanza kuleta watu lakini ni $10,000 kuingia. I think watakupea loan ama nini, lakini kuna venye affordable housing imeanza. Any project inakuwa for a while. Even hapa Mombasa pia kuna kitu kama hiyo, kuna kitu kama affordable housing pia na Mombasa. So si kitu itu ni Nairobi peke yake, ni Kenya nzima. Hizi projects zinaendelea na zinafanyika. Lakini sasa Kenya tunaendelea kisiasa. Hata wanasiasa wameanza kuwa na wanaongea vile wanaongea, wako on the issues, si siasa ya kikabila, although imejitokezea tu kiasi, lakini so far so good. Hii siasa this election has been very transparent. It's been very open, and I don't think whoever wins, let them win. And watu wameongea, the guys who have just talked wameongea vizuri, hata kuna kitu tunaweza ongelea hapo. In fact, nimependa hiyo discussion. We're going to be having more discussions like that in Swahili Nation. na kama kuna tutakuupdate leo usiku, tutakuendelea tu. Kama kuna fujo ya usiku, tutakuja hapa kuonyesha fujo ndo hii. Wakuiba wameiba, wakulinda kura wamelinda kura. Kesho ama kesho kutwa tutajua nani ameshinda. We'll know who's the president and who's guiding, what are the interests towards Kenya. I hope hatacheka tukiwauliza hizi vitu. Ruto actually had a very good manifesto. I'm not going to lie. He had the best manifesto. But now kuna hiyo issue ya mazee, tulimshika ile time tulimshika akiwa na uongo ile time alituvako, alituchocha ile time. Okay. There's a time Ruto alituambia ati atakuwa na laptop sijui nini. Laptop hazijakuja bado brother. Sasa hii manifesto yake isije pia atuambie ni pole. 2027 atuambie ngori. Nilijaribu lakini sijui nani alinikataa. But also we have to if my prayer is that whoever loses concedes, and this gives credit to the process, and it makes sure that the democracy continues to grow. Unaona? Hii ni election tourism. Yeah, Kenya is the most advanced country in Africa in the next also. Kuna mcheki vile tumepiga kura kawa yani hata by the I'm so impressed by when tumepiga kura hapa. Watu hawajui vile tumepiga hii kura. Watu wanadhani watu walikuwa wamekuja na makamera tena zile za slow motion ndio watu wapate wase wakirusha mawe. Sema brother, kula keti kwa hiyo kibanda, kula chapati. Walikuja hapa na makamera ati wanadhani tutapiga makelele hapa, tutapiga mawe sijui nini. Brother, kula keti kwa hiyo taya, waangalia magari zikipita, watu wako fiti. Okay, I don't think this time. Okay, the problem here is, you see, most politicians, there is a high level of how do I put it? There's a high level of politicians this time conceding. Like people who have lost votes, even it was mentioned here, there are high level of people have conceded, like, which is and they have conceded very early. Like, I concede, this my opponent has won. You see a lot of that happening. So that just tells you how the process has been very legit, because now everybody is conceding. The losers have conceded, the winners have accepted. So the process, I don't think, lawyers are expensive. It's not cheap. These lawyers, although the lawyers are angry because of, they were like going to court, but yeah, lawyers are expensive. If you've lost and hapa ni kungori, hapa hakuna kitu nimepata, you just concede, because even if they go to the court, lawyers are expensive. That's what I'm trying to say. But I think if Raila loses, I doubt he will go to court, because now it will be like, you've been going to court 3 times. Every time you lose, you just go to court. Then it's going to be a bit. There's going to be a lot of memes. I think that's the problem. I don't know. I think maybe I'm thinking as a young person, but maybe he thinks. But me, I feel like, why would you embarrass yourself with all these memes? Yeah, because now already there's a meme of him going to court in 2017 with holding the documents. Now you're going to create another meme, So I don't think if Raila loses, I don't think he's going to go to court. That's just my honest opinion. But yeah, if he concedes, my prayer is that if he concedes like a statesman, he has done a lot for the country. We have to give him his respect. The man has done, even look the way this election is going, it's because of him. Because he went to court and challenged. And because of that, look at how good the election has gone. This is an election that even Americans need to learn. Because they need to learn how to conduct a civilized election. Look, Kenya is teaching the world. Yeah, we have to be proud, because look at this. We have just accomplished something that even Donald Trump will come here, cannot even say anything. Unajua the person who might refuse is lakini Uhuru, and even the president has already vacated State House. He has already removed his personal belongings from the presidential house. So yeah, it's looking like it might be a smooth transition. Even in fact, you guys, since you're here and we're talking about these things, let's dive deep because I have a video. I don't know, I think I can share it. Even his supporters, his supporters have said, yo, if you don't, yeah, Obongo is here. Obongo yuko hapa. You know, even his supporters have said, my brother Raila, our Baba, if you don't win this time, don't come to us telling us that you have been that they have stolen your votes. You know, so he has here in this stadium, in this auditorium here where the tables are. Here is where he's going to. This is the final say. So here is where he needs to win the election. He's not going to win it in Supreme Court or anywhere else. He has to win it here in this room here, and this is do or die. You know. So if he wants to win the election, he has to win it over here. Otherwise, at your Supreme Court, he'll just become a meme. People will make fun of him. Even his opponents are going to. You know, it's not going to be pretty for him to go to the Supreme Court. You know, and even his supporters will be like, yeah, Ubongo amesema hata yeye kama by now kama hajachanuka by now hata wewe chanuka. Hiyo ndio kitu tunasema. Kama hujachanuka by now, hujaelewa vile hizi tufanywa, hutawahi chanuka. Itabidi tu ucheze chini, wacha wenye wanajua wajue. Yeah. But yeah, that's really what I was I mean, and yeah. Think tumemalizana hapa. I think I'll be back in a few hours if you guys are still around. I might be back. But yeah, ama niendelee tu niwaache mkicheki stuff because I want to go and do something. But yeah, let me just read the comments. Marie Antoinette, 100%. Hundreds of millions spent to ensure transparency and profession. Yeah, like hii election ni like Obongo, hata kama najua pia hii election you have to give it credit that this election has been tough too, even if he wants to kunini achague underground. Ni ngumu sana, ni ngumu. Hizi vitu ni ngumu. Watu washafanya hesabu zao. Itakuwa ngumu hata sasa akijaribu kuiba yeye atapelekwa Supreme Court na yeye ata lose. Unaona, na lose itakuwa rerun tena. Alafu hiyo rerun unajua tu kumira. Wakianza hivyo ni bas. Yeah? Ndio hivyo. Wishing Kenya all the best. Yeah, Maritonet, we also wish my fellow Kenyans all the best. Na kila mtu, but maybe we might talk like this alafu Raila ashinde. Na ashinde honest. Unajua tuweze jua pia there's a lot of misinformation happening in the media and in the social media. Hii election, even big verified accounts with the blue tick pushing misinformation is just shamelessly. So you don't know anything. But hii misinformation ya Kenya Kwanza inakuanga na statistics hapo, inakuanga na manini Excel sheets. Mbona misinformation ya Azimio hazinanga Excel sheets? Unacheki? Hiyo pia wameanguka hapo kiasi. Unajua ma numbers was convinced wa service. Na hata mimi nishako convinced na ma numbers. Lakini mbona hizi misinformation za Azimio hazikuangi na Excel sheets? Tuone hata kama ni za uongo, tuone wenyewe wamefanya hesabu fulani, ndio hii hapa. Unajua nimeona David Ndiaye ametuonyesha ma PDF sasa watu sasa ukiona hizo mavitu tutafanyaje? Itabidi tuwaamini. Hasla, Samira ni mtu wa hasla. Samira ni mtu wa hasla na watu sawa. Lakini anyway, whoever wins, mimi na hata parliament kama saizi by the way, ni breaking news kama ujui, parliament the parliament now will have power. The majority of parliament is going to be Azimio in the parliament, and in the Senate majority will be Kenya Kwanza. So whoever wins It's like it's going to be already mwenye ameshinda hiyo there's just uphill task. So the government will already there will be high accountability itakuwa kitu nyingine mbaya sana. Hata unasema sijui nini ati BBI hata itafika mbali. Alafu yani hakuna kitu yani itakuwa tu very, so even if it's people are afraid of Ruto, but he's checked. Even if Ruto wins and the parliament is majority Azimio, kuna kitu Ruto atafanya yenye haiwezekani, yenye itakuwa tricky. Hustler si madastis. Hustler si ni wengi, nusu ya Kenya si ni hustler. Nusu ya Kenya ni Azimio. Saa unajua after election hivi vitu zinaisha, hata hustler itaisha. Lakini mkubwa wa hustler si hustler. Na mkubwa wa Azimio hujita nini? Baba hiyo sijui utaitako laje, lakini at the end of the day unajua mimi Samira nilikuwa nataka ile 6k, lakini saa mahasla umesema tusipate 6k. Umesema tupate wheelbarrow. Tutapata hiyo wheelbarrow, tupewe wheelbarrow, tutafanya hustle nayo. Hustle mimi hatuogopi ku hustle. Hatuwezi ogopa ku hustle. Wewe bongo, usiogope ku hustle. Tabidi tu hustle. Tadios lakini alikuja na message ya maana by the way. Tusilenge hii maneno. Mosheni mkono. Usikue dusty. Wash your dusty hands. Tadios Mulegeta, true story. Hata siwezi kupinga. Hapo umebonga kitu maana. Kenyans will accept any winner. Form ni kurudi hustle na kutengeneza pesa. But Kenya kwanza imejaa ukora mwingine, propaganda. Unacheki shida ni hata kama wakora hata Ruto wa lose, wakora bado wako. Na pia Azimio kuna nani? Unajua kitu pia mimi kitu ninibona Azimio. Na kitu linibo saizi hakuna fujo sahi. Lakini kitu linibona Azimio ni nini? Watu mtu kaa Joho mwenye hata tunampea cheo, mtu mwenye hata kusoma unampeaje cheo ya CS? Like hiyo kitu linibo. Unajua mimi niko Mombasa. Unacheki. Sasa mimi najua huyu msee hajafanya kitu ya maana hapa Mombasa. Huyu msee Mombasa hana like huyu hata saizi hata run MCA Joho haiwezi pata hiyo kura. Hata saizi Joho run MCA hata ipata. Like hajadu kitu ya maana. Hana kitu ya maana amefanya. Unacheki. Sasa uko like tunapea umse lands. Hiyo kitu ilinibo. Like hata kama umse ni influencer tu na mapicha zake za mandevu. Hakuna kitu ya maana hapo. Kwa Eldori. Okay, mimi acha nikwambie hakuna violence. Hiyo ndio kitu najua. Sidhani kama kutakuwa na sidhani. Na alafu unajuanga hata mimi ushtuka hakuna kitu kama violence Kenya. Saizi kumetulia. Watu wamechanuka, watu wako hustle. Hata naona vile hustler amepanda hiyo nini. Watu wako hustle. Form ni ku hustle. Watu hata hawana habari za kupigana. Hata Kisumu mna watu wamesema hatuvunji leo, hatungoi reli. Mimi ndio kitu mimi nakwambia. Oparanya. Yaani Raila, hiyo ndio kitu ilinibona Raila. Mimi nilikuwa na support Oparanya tangu from day one. Kitu ameduka Kamega. Sasa mimi niko like Raila angekuwa mtu mwenye selfless. Angepeana tu mimi na support Oparanya, alafu ampe na Matakarua. Hatungekuwa hapa tunasoma form 34 form 34. Ingekuwa tu clean sweep. Hapa hata hizi mafujo sijui za kucheza na form 34 sijui umeka kwa mfuko nini. Hata weke ngapi ingekuwa tu clean sweep. Lakini Rawa alicheza vibaya sana hapo. Lakini haina noma. Unajua bado yuko. Fun fact, shida niyo ndio facts. Bado Oparanya yuko. So anaweza run 2027, huwezi jua. Kitu nadai pia, alafu pia advantage ya Raila pia kuretire ni advantage moja nimecheki ya Raila kuretire. Kama ataretire anaweza shinda hapa alafu aniambie wewe mndatezi lakini advantage ya Raila kuretire ni sasa wase kama Oparanya watapata chance ya kunini ya kula ani sasa hiyo ndio the best thing. Ani Raila sasa akwe too selfless, bado anaweza akiretire anaweza tupea bado anaweza fanya chance akwe selfless, ape Oparanya ODM, ape tu Oparanya ODM ama Azimio ikwe ya Oparanya bas. Wacha hiyo siasa hiyo itakuwa safe hands, unacheki, na siasa iendelee, lakini ndo hivyo Samira, lakini Kenya tunaendelea. Baadaye kitu nimependa kuhusu Kenya baadaye Samira ni nini? Kitu napenda kuhusu Kenya ni nini? Ni hata siku hizi unacheki diaspora wameanza kurudi Kenya. Juzi nilicheki like ile brain drain ya Kenya imeanza kuwa reversed pole chini ya maji, lakini I hope lakini Ruto anaweza fanya brain drain happen. Watu walikuwa wanasema Ruto akiingia, hata Obongo ulikuwa umesema hivyo pia. Nakumbuka ni juzi ulikuwa umesema hivyo. Ati Ruto akiingia wewe unahepa. Haya. Niona hiyo ndio kitu nilikuwa nimeogopa by the like brain drain mazee. Tusipoteze wasee wa maana waende huko estate waanze kuteka waanze kwa mauba. Unaenda buda una masters umeenda nayo estate unaenda kwa chapa wana kumisuse. So hiyo ndo kitu tu nilikuwa nataka kusema. Kwa hayo nitarudi baadaye, maybe in an hour or two, maybe I might be back. Na kitu nataka kufanya huku, alafu ndio tuko Mombasa raha. Samira, kuja Kenya, Kenya ndio mahali. Wana kumekuwa democracy kuliko hiyo nchi uko nayo. Tumekuwa democracy kuliko hiyo nchi huko saizi. Itabidi tu urudi Kenya roho safi. In fact sasa vile sasa tumekuwa wazii. Useme hivyo na Samira ndio hiyo hapa ameenda majuu. Bongo, ona Samira hapa si ndio hiyo hapa ameenda majuu. Lakini atarudi. Saizi angalia vile tumekuwa wazii. Acha nikwambie sahi vile Kenya atasla akishinda rudi baada asiashashinda. Ukiona watu wametulia hivi, watu wameanza kupiga manini umenyamaza, mwana Orengo ameingia kwa building nini, lakini huwezi jua. Lakini akishinda by the way, mimi naona hii election ikama out tu vizuri. Hii election tumalize, kila iko tu sawa, like hakuna mtu isiendelee tu vile inaendelea, like in short hakuna nini, hakuna vita, hakuna too much fujo yenye hatuwezi. Unajua fujo, Wakenya tunapenda fujo, lakini ile fujo lazima fujo yenye tunaweza contain, ile fujo kidogo tu alafu watu wanaendelea na maisha. Lakini kwa sasa isikue, yani isimake mpaka international news. Unajua hizo ndio fujo, na hao wazungu bado wako hapo wanangojea. Wazungu wamengojea siku 7 wanangojea watu wapigane. Na bado tutangoja mpaka next week. Hawana adabu. Tunakuja. Na mcheki wameenda Kibera, sijui wameenda Kondele. Wameenda Kondele, wameenda Kibera, ati mazee wameenda hapo kuketi kwa tairi Kondele. Anangojea fujo. Ni msee. Lakini anyways alafu Ubongo ati saizi Kakamaga waingize Malala, bas washaharibu hiyo kazi yote Oparanya amefanya. Gone, waingize Malala waone hiyo kazi yote Oparanya amefanya gone. Akiingiza tu Malala bas watakuwa wameharibu. Lakini pia itabidi wahamie Kisumu juu Nyang'ongo bado ameshinda. Lakini Mombasa pia tunatafuta Abdul Nasir. Bana, wazungu waende kwao wazungu, lakini wameanza ukicheki democracy ikihappen, acha nikwambie, democracy ikihappen wazungu uchujwe tu automatic. Like ukiangalia cheki saa hizi vile mimi nakushua hata whoever wins hii election, hiyo confidence atakuwa nayo, acha nikwambie. Juu ameshinda fair and square, although amevuruga huku na huku, bado atakuwa na hiyo tu confidence that yenyewe mimi nimeshinda in a civilized way. Ndio maana nakwambia Ubongo, Malala, hiyo ndio kitu inaniboo. Like Malala hawezi win. Unajua wasee, unajua unacheki vile Bungoma amedu. Unajua ndio kitu ninaanza kutense wazee. Unajua kama vile Bungoma wamefanya alafu ifanyike pia Kakamega. Wameona Hasla ashinde pia hawa elect Malala. Bas. Gains reversed. Hiyo gains juu mimi mcheki Kakamega saizi ni fit. Kakamega sasa hata mimi nafikiria kuhamia huko nianze kupresent Swahili Nation huko maofisi za utaniona hapo Kakamega hapo kuisero hapo nianze najua huko ndio ocha kuisero hapo nianze kupresent nini Swahili Nation hapo. Hata sina habari juu mimi na huko ndo mimi upenda Western Kenya ndio mimi huona the best. Unaweza kaa hapo hata chill tu, yani ukose kufikiria mambo ya dunia uko sawa tu. Hiyo environment inakuanga fiti sana. Kutoka hapo uchape lap kutoka Kakamega uende mpaka Kisumu Kakamega. Hiyo lap hapo. Kutaka sana uende mpaka nini? Ufikishe pia kuna Busia huko Busia. Hiyo kuna hizo ma river ma forest hapo. Sawa hopefully lakini in the end of the day tuko hata vile umesikia ma journalist wamesema in the end of the day Kenya is the evolution pia president Buhala mimi hata nikwambia mimi najua tu ni Kuisero, si ati nilizaliwa huko ndio ocha, lakini mimi nilizaliwa Mombasa but najuanga tu home ni Kuisero. Sasa hata siwezi kuambia ni wapi, like najuanga tu nimeenda Kuisero, lakini naweza enda like I think, lakini sijakuwa huko for like almost 5 years I think this year naenda December nitakuwa huko. Sijakuwa huko for 5 years, naenda December ndio nasikia kumeendelea. Yaani sijaona bado results, bado mimi niliona tu Uparanya kitambo. Sasa naenda ku experience hiyo kitu kutoka December. Kutoka December mimi nitakuwa niko huko. Lakini ni karibu na Kuisero, ni hiyo market ama shopping center. Hapo hiyo area karibu na Kuisero shopping center. Ndio hapo. But yeah, hapo ndio nimeona, nimesikia sijui kulikuwa na ile river hapo chini imekuwa barabara, hiyo kitu liniboa. Ama ni asubuhi. Hoping for, my internet is very dusty today, have a good night and a good week. Hoping for peace. Bado asubuhi hajafika, tuko usiku. Bado ni usiku, tuko midnight. Lakini kunaweza kuwa na developments, hawezi jua. Wazee, najua kulikuwa na ile ka river hapo kwa nini, nilikuwa nimesikia hiyo river inaenda saizi ni barabara. Iko la kulikuwa na ati sasa hiyo ndio I think kulikuwa na barabara fulani imekuwa ati huko nyuma sasa ni barabara sijui kwenda Mlwanda ama nini. Naenda kucheki ni experience hiyo nini. Juu umesikia hata famu yangu yote siku hizi makuzo wangu hata nikawa naanza kuishi huku pia. Wameanza kuhamia huko juu. Wow, like month hizi pita wako wajaenda home, like month hizi pita wako tu huko, so nikaa watu wame nice na watu wame nice na Kisoro juu, lakini ndio uzuri wa maendeleo by the way, ukicheki watu hata watu waanza tu kurudi home, unapata tu watu wana kupoa, hewa ni safi, angalia kuna maendeleo. Hata ufikiria Nairobi, hata nayo time unaona tu fanya remote work niende tu huko. Sasa hiyo ndio kitu hata mimi nafikiria like nikiweza kufanya ma remote mimi nipate, nataka kuchange hustle, nipate hustle ya ka remote bas. Hata mnione hata Mombasa nimechoka na hii joto. Choka na joto sasa, acha nikule hewa safi au kuisera. Nisikize hizo mama nini kule mapera, nisikize misauta hizo mandege. Nisikize mang'ombe. Hata mimi nitakuwa regular huko. But yeah, anyways, hebu nitarudi in like an hour or two. Juu lazima nifanye ma vitu 1-2 kiasi. Okay, thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for subscribing. Like, share, subscribe wase. Wase wenye umebaki wa 7, ninajua nyinyi ndio mnaelewa Kiswahili. Bro, Mombasa ni raha. Mombasa si ati ni bahari ni tamu, lakini inafika time tu unaweza kufikiria unafikiria wacha unachikile ocha. Unajua uwezi substitute ocha. Ocha ile tu, ile feeling ya ile harufu ya ocha, ile hewa ya ocha, yani huwezi substitute. Inakwanga tu unique kivyake. Sawa bongo. Good night. Tuonana brother. Hata mimi nitarudi wana kama kuna stuff ita happen. Nipate hawa wase wa Stato pia wanadai kuchapa lap zao, wapige story zao, tuongee kuhusu Kenya. Tutaendelea tu saa. Asanteni kukuja. Thank you guys for coming and you guys have a good night. And African goodbyes, but thank you guys and we'll see you in a few.